just pull up and realize we live. It's cool. It's what he would do for us.
Exactly.
Wait, is this an overlay?
Yeah, we're in Ratchet avatar mode.
So do we just keep this up though? Cause like, what is happening?
Listen,
No, people take it down.
No clip. My bad. What'd you say?
No, take it down. Yeah, take it down.
Oh, okay. I was like, I want to be at the bar. There we go.
Yeah.
I feel like this is too like a lot though. There we go.
Oh, that was a lot, but this ain't.
This is. I feel like this is like not a lot.
Oh, okay. So the still picture of the bar with like dark subtle colors was too much.
This, how about this? How about this? The movie background for America.
No. Yeah.
It's America core. Like, are we done celebrating the 4th, or like, are we supposed to wait?
Do we treat America's birthday like how Black folks treat their birthday? But like, if it.
I feel like I thought it wasn't black to celebrate the 4th of July anymore.
I mean,
I thought black people just was like, we hate America now. Isn't that like the general? Isn't that like 2020 blackness? Like to like be anti.
Right? Oh yeah, anti 4th of July.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the shift now.
You know, niggas got to get they red, white, and blue outfits though.
Nah, I feel like they don't really. I honestly feel like when you think of the colors of things, it's like, does it really flatter my skin? If it's not, if it doesn't, I feel like that's the qualifier of if it's for you. Like, I feel like red, white, and blue are just like not my colors. Like, I just don't think they look good on my skin. Like,
I mean, you know, I can get away with most colors except yellow. I don't know why.
Yeah, it would probably make you look like really like jaundiced.
Yeah.
Like really washed out. Yeah. It really just depends on your undertones. But I'm like, these colors are not for me. Yeah. I think Rashawn was supposed to come, but maybe he fell asleep. It's possible he took a nap. It's possible he took a power nap that was overpowering.
This is overpowering.
It was an overpowering nap.
Yeah, this was his idea.
It kind of. It didn't necessarily have to be today. I was inviting you to get cussed out today. I don't know if he was necessarily like, hey, Dury. I don't know if he necessarily was like ready to have, he liked to get his notes and stuff. But I was willing to cuss you out for being ignorant about Kendrick Lamar's song. How many views are we sitting at now on that video had like crazy views? Yeah, in like 45 minutes. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. But why do you think? Okay, because I know you thought people were just like, oh, it's a bandwagon thing. But it really is I really enjoyed the song. So how do you feel about it now? It's been a while. It's still that song. And I don't think it's only because of the Drake diss. Because all of the other songs in the diss don't get the play that this song is.
I mean,
overhyped.
To be fair, it's very much overhyped, but it's the best song of the battle. So I get why it's getting the play. Like structure wise and all that, the beat, it's very it's a catchy song. Like I don't dislike the song,
right?
But like most things I do dislike is like the overhyping and the overkill and the taking it where it wasn't meant to go. Because like I understand the concept and the message of it.
Do you though?
I mean, yeah. He feels like for him, he feels like Drake is which I would consider a culture vulture.
Look, Michael Jackson came. Hey.
Like he's you know what I'm saying? Drake is what people would consider a culture vulture. He said a bunch of other shit about him.
Yeah,
like,
right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But outside of it, the They Not Like Us part is about that in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, but I think
let me ask y'all a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But how did y'all sit there and blame it on me? How did you this was never my idea. Like that was dirty. I'm like, how am I catching strays?
How we blame? What we blame on you?
It was Rashawn's idea.
Nope, Yella did
I
that,
was
and I
just saying.
corrected
I
him.
just said I was gonna cuss Yella out. I ain't say nothing about no stream.
No, Yella was referring to that stream when we had our stream where you said we should hash out the terms to be more specific. And I said, I don't think that's what he was intending to do today because he usually likes to get his notes together. And then I
Oh yeah, I did
said,
hear that part.
what I was going to do was just cuss Yella out for being ignorant
Which
on
is fair.
Twitch today.
And you
So
should.
I was defending you.
I'm here for it.
That's what I said. Now Yella did
Cuss him
say it
out,
was your
Brie.
fault. He tried to
Cuss him
he
out,
tried to
Brie.
make it like this was you.
Cuss him out, Brie.
So yeah. So there you go. You
Yeah.
think Family Matters was you have a maple, yeah, because you're not like us, Dury.
He ain't.
You got a maple syrup bias. There you go. You know, I find that the people who not like us, the main ones who don't like the song. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so listen, I did have a controversial question for you, Yella, because it dawned on me last night. It never dawned on me until your whole like blow up about this whole not like us thing. But you know how there's a Napoleon complex for short people. Okay, so you're light skinned,
Right.
So is your aggressivity a light skin complex? Like, do you do that because people always thought you were soft because you were light skinned?
Be aggressive?
Yeah.
No, I'm aggressive because I'm angry.
Okay.
Okay. But it's, you know what was also strange for me hearing the blow up? Less about him, but like that, I don't know, because like I feel like when we were having the Black community discussion thing, and I was saying like I feel like it's also a part of the Black culture, a Black American culture to like other people inside, even though we know that they're not, like we know we're all Black because we all in the same neighborhood. But you get called, you know, you got the light skinned people called white boy or this or that, or if you talk a certain way, you're Oreo, or you always got that one white person who in the hood too, and they're called white whatever they are. So I still feel like even some of the like the what Yella was describing as being picked on or other is still a part of the Black culture.
It is.
That was like kind of like interesting to me to hear you like you. I mean, of course, yeah, they do actually treat you different. I'm not saying it's just words because you do get ostracized for it, but it's still a very Black experience also at the same time. It's a weird thing. Like it's a very Black experience, but it is real. Like you really are getting ostracized for it. But I don't know. It's just weird that it's both of those things at the same time. Because once again, I've never seen Yella or heard Yella and be like, that's not a Black man.
Yeah.
Like maybe once you hear his voice, there's just like no doubt. Like now, if you started sounding like you was from Cali or you was like a Latino or something, then I'd be like, oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. So listen, you know, Yella's really good at picking up people's accents.
Yeah.
What if this whole time Yella's been putting on a Black scent?
A Black scent?
That would be a very dedicated act that he's putting on.
Whole time he sound like Michael.
That would
Richards.
be my most natural fucking accent too.
And this whole time he has like what the whitest accent or just
he just sound like Mike. Yeah, he just sound like Kramer.
My real voice.
Yeah, then he hit live. And it sound like, hey, yeah, everybody.
He got his Black scent down.
Yeah. I'm getting my DDG. I'm doing my DDG.
Yeah, because man, I keep hearing he has a whole different voice. It's crazy.
Yeah, his voice deeper than mine. Shit,
it's crazy. His real voice is actually crazy, but I understand why he changed it. Like why he doesn't talk that way. Dury asked the question: the ultimate gatekeeping song is being bought by everybody. Yeah, because I don't think most people actually know what the fuck he's talking about. Still, like that's like, but that's Kendrick though. A lot of people listen to Kendrick and don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, because that's I was gonna say that's not really a product of not being in tune. Kendrick don't really have coherent raps either. Like
no, I think they're coherent.
No, you got to be like I'm talking about
it's
generally
esoteric.
coherent. Yeah, yes, like generally coherent. Like he very much speaks in the blackity black. He speaks in the blackity black verbiage, which also to me is full of shit too.
Okay. Let's go.
Well,
you know, it's a need to. It's that same need to feel black, need to represent black. you being black isn't enough. You have to be black. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, the problem with me for that is that Kendrick, it's like I don't when people become celebrities, like I think that changes how you do things to some degree. Like once you are a commodity or you're marketed to a great number of people, you have to choose the energy to embody. Like that's just what I believe, because it's like how when your channel blows up, your channel's usually gonna blow up when you niche down. Like if you're a variety streamer, it's gonna be really hard to blow up because of the nature of
Mm-hmm.
marketing and algorithms. So most people who have a big audience have to niche down. And I feel like most entertainers go through the same thing. They have to pick their persona and that's who they have to be. And so I think Kendrick's persona that fits the persona that he's chosen to embody,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to pick. Just like I was saying with Sexy Red, like she's chosen this energy to embody, so that's what she's gonna be. Like she's niched down into this kind of thing, right? So I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's. I just kind of see it as that. Like it is him, but he has to niche down. Like if he started doing pop shit, it would be weird. Like it would
It
just
would
be
be.
weird.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. He's chosen a path, and I
yeah.
feel like he's chosen to step into that place that Nipsey left.
Mm.
Like he's
'Cause-
chosen to put on Compton as a costume.
And but I always
And
feel
that's
like
what
he's
I see
had this
too.
very like he's also very much
No,
always had this blackity black kind of undertone behind him too.
gangster
Yeah,
Compton though. That's what I see.
Yeah.
It's this hardened gangster exterior now that he trying to kind of portray. That's weird. Cause see, Kendrick was the weird kid who grew up in the hood. Good kid, Mad
Uncle
City. He
Kenny.
was he wasn't a hustler. He wasn't a gangster ass nigga. He wasn't none of that. But now he gets associated with that because of where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, see, it's a statement that you could be a street, you could be a hood nigga just being from the hood. But Kendrick ain't a hood nigga.
Mm-hmm.
So this extra tough, hard gangster, I'm gonna kick your ass. This type of exterior ain't never been him. This ain't never been him. No, ain't never been him. Ain't
No, I
never
don't
been
see
his
him. I never
presentation.
saw him as an active gang member, and I still don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like he's like trying.
Active,
I just don't feel
affiliated.
like because
He's
even with his
adjacent.
concert, yeah, he's adjacent, but it was like even with his performance, he had all the people together, and like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's only something you can do if you're not actually active, but you're just like I came up around these people,
Yeah.
No,
so
that's not
like
true. That's not true because
that's
we
kind of
see
his
the
vibe to me though.
no because we see how we that's why Rashawn said he picked up where Nipsey left off because
Yeah,
black
and he
folks
said
have
that.
no problems. Black folks have no problems with acknowledging and participating with active gang members in shit like this. They ain't got no problem with that
Yeah,
because
I'm
we.
not. That's not what I was saying.
No, I'm saying, but it was like you said. He was like they wouldn't have came together if he was active
No,
or
I'm
something
just
like
saying. I'm
that.
not saying they wouldn't have, but I just don't see him as an active gang member. Like he doesn't have the vibes of an active gang member, and I don't. When I see him even now, like he did talk about picking up where Nipsey left off, but I still don't feel like he's trying to be like I'm out here shooting niggas. Like I just
Yeah,
don't feel
yeah,
that. I'm not getting that feeling.
No,
yeah.
no, I ain't saying that either because
Yeah.
that's not necessarily what I'm saying either. What I'm saying is that this tough exterior though, I'm that dude in the hood. That wasn't never that.
I mean, but don't
There
you think
is
that
this.
could be kind of to some degree because he is from that neighborhood and he has notoriety? He would be that dude to some degree, not because of what he's done gang wise, but because he's just from their area and he's famous now. Like, isn't that a phenomenon?
I mean, you got that type of influence, but still, even the niggas who
Yeah.
there don't give a shit about you being that dude. Because if you ain't that type of nigga, then you ain't that type of nigga. You see what I'm saying? So
I don't know, because I've seen people who weren't really
the
the
kid,
biggest.
if you was the kid that stayed out of trouble in the city where trouble was going, because that's his whole presentation. I'm the good kid in the mad city. I'm the one that stayed out of trouble. I'm the one that
Yeah,
didn't get into shit. So
yeah,
now here
but
you come trying to be, I'm Compton, nigga. We hood, nigga. It's what we do. Wild bam, all this tough talk shit. But nigga, you was
yeah,
just good kid, mad city a couple years ago.
but I don't know. I feel like if he grew up in that environment, and like once again, I'm not getting that he's saying he's done any other things or he has stripes. Like I'm not getting that. I'm just getting that this is the kid who came up with family members or he knew people around him who were actually those people. And because he has blown up and he is from that neighborhood, they accept him as like, yes, he is that dude, but not because of any of his merits as a gangbanger, but because he is Kendrick and he's from their neighborhood. Like I've seen that where maybe this person wasn't in the shit when they were growing up, but if they blow up and become a big name from your neighborhood, when they come back, they are that dude. Like they are
Right.
treated
They
as
get
like
that they get that level of respect. Now I got you. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
just kind of feel like that's more of like what Kendrick is. I don't really feel like I don't know. I'm not picking up that he's trying to put on that he was doing all this game.
No,
But
I ain't. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not saying. That's why I never said gang shit in particular. I said hood shit, tough shit.
yeah, but he
Like you
did
know what
grow
I'm
up in the hood, so he probably is hood. Like I don't.
No, but that's what. But that's what I'm saying. His presentation up till now has not been that.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying? So this is what I'm
I,
saying. It's convenient. It's convenient how he slid into the code switch to become this tough, hard nosed dude who represents Compton, who gonna stand on it is a certain type of presentation that he putting out now that's different from who he was.
yeah, I
He
mean, and I
wasn't
think
trying to
he's,
tear niggas. He wasn't. It wasn't no tear niggas down. It wasn't no none of this shit. He was on some conscious shit.
and that's what I'm saying. I still feel like he still is, and that's the difference I think we have. I just think how he's doing it is different. Like he
He's
definitely
not. He's on
mentioned
some
picking.
messy
Well,
shit.
he definitely picked up with talking about he's gonna pick up where Nip left off. He definitely has said that. And then also the whole point of it is like I'm not tearing a black person, like a black American from the culture down. I'm tearing a culture vulture down. So I don't know. That's kind of where I think we differ. I don't see it as him just like this is a beef one, and I don't see it as him just being messy. Like I don't see him just going after everybody. I see
But
this
it
as a
essentially
pointed
is.
attack at Drake, who he sees as a culture vulture from outside, not a
It
black person.
essentially is though, because if you look at why all of this started because the niggas complimented him. Like it's this weird ass dynamic with how this whole beef and shit started. The niggas mentioned him as in they mentioned him in the song as the big three. So they were saying,
Yeah,
"Hey nigga, we the top of the music." This nigga
yeah,
did the Keith Lee and was like, "Well, ain't with
it's
me,
just big
goddamn it."
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. It's just right. So there is this weird ass switch in how he acted about the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, you know what I'm
yeah, that's
saying?
fine. I mean, yeah, that's what Midnight Snack just like quoting stuff that he said. Yeah, I've kind of, I don't know. I've never seen Kendrick and not been like, that's the dude who's not from the hood. I don't know. I just never felt that from him. So I just find it, once
I ain't
again,
never said
I
that's what I'm
can't.
saying. I'm not saying not
No,
from
I'm
the
not
hood, but
saying
it's
you're not
niggas from
saying
the
he's from the hood, but
it's niggas from the hood that ain't doing the shit that niggas in the hood do. That's
yeah,
what
but
I'm
I'm not
saying.
talking about active. Like once again, you're talking about active in gang shit, is what you're
No, I'm
talking
talking
about.
about active in hood shit. I never that's
Okay, but if you're
okay.
in the
Okay, hold on, hold
hood,
on.
that's what I'm
Let
saying.
me
What
be
does that
clear. Let me
mean?
be clear.
Yeah,
Let me be clear. I've been active in gang activity. If I
right,
meant gang activity, I would have said gang activity.
right. So
I
I'm
would
just
have
trying to
very
figure out what do you
specifically said
mean?
gang activity. Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. So what do
Right.
you mean?
I'm talking about this tough nigga persona that he trying to put on. This like because like you said, I'm a pick. Like you said, he's picking up where Nipsey left off at. Man, if you was that dude, you wouldn't have to pick up where nobody left off. You'd have been doing the thing. You'd have been
Okay.
doing it. So that's very clear because Nipsey was the dude. Nipsey was that dude not only because he rapped and put the motherfucking city on, but because he was active in being that nigga
Right.
in the okay. So when you said you picking up where somebody left off at, that clearly wasn't in the same footsteps that you was, then yeah,
Okay.
it seems a little weird.
But right, so
So
he
now
wasn't. So now we're talking about he wasn't active in gang shit. Nipsey was. I'm not talking about that. I'm asking you, what is hood shit that you're talking about that is not active gang involvement? Because you're saying he's not in hood shit. I'm not talking about gang involvement. So what are you talking about when you say that? What are you talking
because
about when you say that stuff? Like what
because his
activities? What's hood activities that's not
because
gang
his
related?
because his persona was that he lived around the shit, but he wasn't involved in none of it. I.e., good kid,
Right.
mad city. Right? I wasn't the dude that was being tough or none of his persona ain't never been to be tough. But now, hold on. Now that he has the backing of the blackness, now this extra tough puffed out his
Uh,
chest. I represent. No, I'm just hear me out, Bree.
the blackness? You mean
Yeah,
gang?
no, yeah,
He just
absolutely. It's the
always been
same way.
blackity
It's the
black
same
black
way.
black.
It's the
I'm
same
not
way black
sure.
kids. It's the same way black kids from the suburbs go visit they friends, they family in the city, and get tough.
Yeah,
It's the
but he
same
wasn't from
way.
the suburbs.
But he also was. That's what I'm saying. He's also letting it be known that he wasn't even that type of dude living in the hood.
What is that type of dude? Like I'm trying to get specific language because when you say that, I'm thinking you're talking about gang affiliated gang activities, and you're saying that's not what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to understand what you mean when you say that dude. You're not talking about gang activities.
Right? He
So what do
wasn't.
you
Yeah,
mean by that
he wasn't.
dude?
He
I don't know what
wasn't.
that
That's what I'm
means.
saying.
Okay, I
He's
know he wasn't, and that's what I'm saying. I never saw him as that, but you're saying, yeah, he wasn't even that dude, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
he
I
wasn't
never
even
saw
nothing.
him
He
as.
wasn't nothing similar.
Yeah,
He
okay,
wasn't even right. Right. So he
but he's
wasn't even
from the
nothing
hood
similar
though.
to the point to where right, you could be from the hood and still be a quiet ass, don't start nothing, steady yourself, don't get into shit ass nigga. Even if you're not in
Okay,
a gang, even if you're not in a gang.
right. I mean, I know that, so that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
So that's what
But
I'm
that's what
saying.
I'm telling you. I've always felt that from him. I never felt anything different. So that's what I was
Exactly. So
saying.
where does this come from now? To where he's
He
Mr.
said it.
Compton. Where it where does it come from now? Then if you've never got that from him, then that's what I'm saying
No,
too. We're saying the
I've
same
gotten that
thing.
he grew up in the hood, but I just always
Right.
picked up that he wasn't doing gang
And that's
shit.
been the thing. Just because you grew up in the hood don't make
But
you
I,
as tough and hard nosed as
but
he's trying to perceive himself to be now. He's
okay.
trying to perceive himself as if there's this edge because I'm from Compton, I'm this, that, and the other, when that ain't never been you. But now it's you. Now this is you.
I mean,
Stop it.
once again, just kind of like Midnight say, I feel like who he was. I feel like I've always understood it. I don't know. Even now, I don't feel like he's trying to be like, oh, I'm a gang nigga. Like I'm not even getting that still. So I don't
I
know.
know
We just have to agree to disagree.
that's why I'm very specifically not
We just
saying
have to agree to
gang.
Bree,
disagree.
it's funny. It's funny that Bree's doing that thing from the same thing that happened on that clip with the
Yeah.
women. Like Bree's doing the exact same thing. No matter how many times Cooley said, "That's not what I'm saying." Bree's
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
that's
"Yeah, but this is
and
what you're saying."
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't understand because I can't get more
Right, because I don't
specific
know how many
language from
times I
you.
got to say that I never said gang shit, but
Yeah, I
it's
can't
like
get
no
specific.
matter no, it's no. I'm just saying it's like no matter what explanation I give forward to it, though, it's not substantial because you're riding on the whole gang shit thing, and no matter
No,
how
I'm
many
not.
times I said he ain't an
Yeah, you
active,
are, Bree.
you keep on, but you are though, like
Because you
you
originally
are,
disagreed
you
with me.
literally
Because
are,
you
you like
disagreed with me.
you literally are though, and that's the frustration. Like that's where the legit frustration is coming from because you keep saying active gang member. If that's the perception that I was gonna give, that's
You would
what I would
say
have said.
that. I get it. Yeah, I know.
And
I'm
real
hearing
quick,
you.
shout out to Nate and Mara. Yes, hello, Mara. I saw you. That's my little sister. But there were two people talking. I was not going to shout over two people to say hello, but hello, little sister, Mara. Hi, how are you doing? Everything okay? All right, now my bad. Back to the argument.
No, it's fine because I'm not gonna get what I need to understand what he's trying to say. So that's why I was like,
I
we'll
don't
just
know
have
how
to
much
agree to
else to
disagree.
give you.
I know
Yeah, I mean, I
because I'm
get you. Yeah,
asking
you'd have to
specifically, and
you'd
you're
have to
not.
restate. You'd have to
Yeah, you
restate
have
using
to like.
completely different words because she's
Yeah,
stuck
and
on the
I'm just
gang
not.
thing.
I'm not picking
Like
up because
there's
when I said that, you originally disagreed with me. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm not understanding what you're meaning that I'm not saying, or vice versa. So I'm just completely confused.
He's
I
never
love
given
Dory.
off he's never given off the perception of tough dude. However you want to look at it, gang member. He's never given off the perception of what Nipsey did. Right
Yeah,
now, he
that's
is.
I that's
Now he is, and that's what I'm
okay.
saying. Where the fuck did this come from now? To where you're Mr. Compton, I got the whole city on me. You ain't gonna do shit. You not like us. This, that, and the other. All this other shit. All this extra hard shit. Like
Okay.
that's why I was looking at the beef in general. It's like, what are y'all really beefing over? Like, what are y'all really beefing over? Because this it essentially all feels like a temper tantrum from Kendrick. We beefing because a niggas complimented you on a song.
But what if you don't feel like it was a compliment?
Then that's an internal issue. Then it really makes it feel like he hit dog holler. Then it really feel like he bitching. I can't be 15 years behind. If you and that's another thing too, nigga. You that dude, but you waited 15 years to say something. Less gangster, less tough. Now I what the fuck? Now you done waited a whole 15 years to bitch about it now. Whatever happened then was 15 years ago, and now because motherfucker said something about you on the song now it's time to throw the temper tantrum. Okay then this really sound like a bitch then. Now you sound even softer because you've been sitting up marinating on some shit for 15 years.
It sounds like a marriage.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, this sound like a relationship falling apart. Because like you said, these niggas did music. They got songs together. They got posed up pictures. They kicking it, all types of shit. He was like us then. But now he not like us. Stop it, man. Y'all was playing in the sandbox together a couple months ago. A couple years ago, we were just making songs couple years ago.
Anybody else have anything to add to that?
I don't like the fact that the only other person up here is me, and Bree said anybody else. Like I don't have a name.
Yeah. Do you
Does
or the
anybody else
chat?
have
Let
anything?
me be specific. Or the chat. Is that better? There you go.
I personally don't. I didn't like Midnight knows. Midnight knows more about his music. I didn't follow Kendra's music for I guess the same reasons that Yella's talking about. He had a very specific brand, and I just wasn't into it. But I also agree with Bree that he did. He is like adjacent. Like he does come across. He has the Compton. I don't know the feel on him. He's got the flavor. He's got like you can tell that he's a product of that environment without the necessary gang affiliation. Like it's like it comes across in his music, in the way he styles his music videos. Like he displays the culture, I guess is the way to say it. He expresses the culture of the area that he comes from. But he didn't, I guess he knew gang people. Like most of us that grew up in the hood, we know people that did stuff, even if we didn't do anything. I was not a gang member. I did not sell drugs. I knew the gang members. I knew people that sold drugs. Sometimes I hung with the gang members. Sometimes I hung with the people that sold drugs. When they were gang banging or selling drugs, I was not with them. So I get it. There's a place in between where you can know the stuff that's going down, but not be a part of it yourself. But nobody's ever going to mistake me for a thug. Like I'm kind of the Kung Fu Kenny of the group. Like nobody's ever going to think that I'm hard. But if I all of a sudden started bringing like the people from Columbus that was banging and selling drugs on the stage, people that knew me would feel like, okay, there's some fraudulence going on here.
Come
So
on,
I
man.
get it. So I get it. So I get both sides of what y'all trying to say.
You
I get
surrounding
that
your
in
niggas.
between.
You surrounding yourself by the niggas that do that shit. So you could look like you do that shit. Ain't no different than him saying Drake go to Atlanta for the black experience. Is my point.
I get you, but also, but if I do know and I'm friends with gang members and drug dealers, I could call on them because I have
Right.
a relationship
That,
to them.
right. That's what I get. That I get that.
Yeah,
But in essence, that is the same that's contradictory to what they're saying about Drake going. That's the bad thing about Drake going to Atlanta. Is that I can call on these people to validate this level of blackness that I feel like I need to have, or this level of inclusion that I feel like I need to have to be a part of the group. So how is it wrong that Drake can go from Canada to Atlanta to go hang with the black folks, but Kendrick can call on the niggas that was in his neighborhood to make him feel more accepted? Oh, get the
Because
fuck out
Kendrick
there.
is actually from the neighborhood and actually
Out of
knows those
here.
people and
He's
grew
not,
up
he
in,
ain't
but
like
hold on,
them.
and actually grew up in the environment. So like it's not a culture vulture. Like
it's
that's
not a
literally the
stretch.
difference. Like
Yeah,
this is someone coming from Canada who has like never, who didn't even grow up in a black like neighborhood or anything, going to a whole another country, to another place, and calling on people. Like it's totally different. What do you mean it's not the same? It's not the same.
okay.
I mean,
Cool.
that's culture vulture. Like now,
Cool.
I'm philosophically, I'm not gonna say one is right, one is wrong, or
Yeah,
whatever, but it's not the same. Like me calling people who I actually grew up with and actually know versus somebody coming from outside of the country and pretending they grew up in the neighborhood or grew up around these people. Like it's not the same. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
But
That like
but
one person grew up around these actual people he's calling on, and the other person didn't grow up in that environment. It's completely dissociated from it and
but
is
knowing
pretending to
these,
be from the
but
environment. And let's not say just knowing, because I think that's too vague.
no, it
Like
is.
being raised up around these people, not just knowing.
some
Like I grew up with
somebody
these people.
black Dury, somebody black Dury. He out there
But
raising.
that's it.
First of all, Canadians are soft Dury. There are no black people in Canada, and y'all don't run hip hop. How about that, Dury?
I mean, I don't know much about the Canadians, but it does. Like if Drake grew up in a hood in Canada and was like bringing up the homies from Canada, hey, say what you want. That's not for me to comment on. I don't know about the black community in Canada, so whatever, you know what I'm saying. But they're not the same. It's not simply just he knows people. Drake knows these people from rapping and working, but so it's not to say it's not just knowing people. It's one
Yeah.
grew up around these people. He's going home, like Shad just said, versus the other one is like sourcing from people he did not grow up with. Like it's different.
The essential problem with both of those things is that they are both leeching off the experience of people that they are not, is what I'm saying. He don't just know these people in the neighborhood. Him calling on them is him essentially leeching off the experience they put in so he can feel like he's a part of it. That's my point. Because he's so far connected from it now that he's not even a good kid on the Mad City no more. He don't probably live in Compton. Nigga, a fucking millionaire. So he really gotta reach back to that well to refill his blackness anyway. So it goes further than just him where he from and all this other shit. He's reaching to a certain group of people whose culture, regardless if they lived in the same neighborhood or not, does not match up. So if he can reach to the hood, to the gang niggas, to the niggas who out here putting work, to the tough niggas, and he can reach them and be around them and basically absorb their essence and be like them, then he's doing the same thing that he's accusing Drake of. Going to be around a certain group of people, absorbing the essence that he didn't put out, that they are the ones who cultivate. It's the same thing.
It's not though. It's related.
Okay.
It's
All right.
related,
No, it's not.
but it's not the same thing.
I mean, related, the same thing,
Because
same essence, same concept. I mean, I
of
get that you're
where
saying
we
that
grow
somebody
up.
coming from another country to another city ain't the same thing, but it's the same fucking process.
But
It's
where
the
we're
same idea. I've conceded that it's not the same thing because it's somebody coming from Canada, but it's the same process. You're
but
essentially gaining credibility from a culture that you didn't participate in.
but he was a part of that culture. That's what I
But
mean. That's
he's
where I started to get
okay.
confused what you mean, because where we're raised and where we grow up, like I do agree to some degree. He's reaching back to capitalize off what they're still living, even though he isn't currently living at. Like I do understand what you're saying there. But I like he was raised in that environment. He is a product of it. And as adults, like we don't just dissociate from where we came from. I don't think the environment you were raised in ever really goes away or ever really just falls off you no matter where you go. So to that degree, I don't feel like it's like he's so detached from it now because he has money that he's just not a a man who grew up in Compton anymore. So like I do agree to some degree, like he's reaching back to pull on the experience of people who are actually still living in it and did it, like the more of the stuff he's talking about. So I do agree with you there. But I mean, I still think it's valid to this degree that he did grow up in that, and that's our formative years. His formative years were spent in that environment. So I think that's like the big difference for me.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's what I think. Everybody up here agrees on that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Jury, I think we
I
all
just,
agree
I
on that
just,
point.
I can just see why people take contention because, like, even taking it away from Drake and Kendrick specifically, this is a conversation we were having the other day where Yella
Right.
was talking about the blackness conversation, the gatekeeping thing. Like, how black do you have to be, and like, why do I get excluded a lot of times in these conversations? So it's like, I mean, as Yella, I'm speaking from Yella's perspective. The other day, we was like, we brought up the whole meaningless and distractive again because there are lines, and then who gets to decide who the us is? Like, who's the us? Who's the arbiter of blackness? Who's the arbiter of who's in and who's out? Who determines the in group and the out group? And that shifts. So it's like that's that's the conversation that everybody's having. And like we had the other day, like there's race, there's culture, there's ethnicity, there's nationality. All of these things are blurred when we're talking about blackness and what the culture is. Because even though Kendrick might have been born into the culture, Drake has access to it, but he's what is that? He's like he's traveling for it. Like he's I don't mean like the literal I know he's coming across the borders, but I mean like he wasn't born into it. He wasn't born into the culture. He wasn't raised in the culture. So even though it's different, it's still similar because he can still wear the culture. He still has enough of the ethnicity to carry it and people accept it as legitimate. And that's what people are mad about. That's why they're calling him a vulture because he carries enough ethnicity that when he wears the culture, it doesn't look like a costume. And Kendrick is calling it out like, nah, bro, that's a costume. You're not really us. You just look like us. And Yellow's like, well, what's the difference? If he can put it on effectively, if he can look the part and act the part, that's no different than you being raised in it. You look the part and act the part. The outcome is the same.
Same.
So I get what Yellow's saying. But I also, from the inside of the group, I also understand why we feel like, nah, everybody can't just jump in here. Just because you look the part and then you want to start acting the part doesn't mean you got the role. So I see both sides of it. It's really hard because it's an emotional argument. Emotionally, we don't want other people to come in and take something. But Yella made a great point. This is one of the things that Yella made a great point on the other day when we was on the stream and I didn't have notes. He said something about, but why are we gatekeeping trash? Like, why do you want to keep people out of last position? Like, you're everything we say about blackness, we're in last position, we're disadvantaged, we're victims. Why are you trying to keep people out of that? That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, dang, God. But emotionally, no matter where you are, even if it's in last place, for some reason, you still don't want people to be able to come in here and take your spot. I have no idea why, and I know it's completely emotional because it doesn't make sense.
Because last place, struggle, fighting from underneath, that's black culture. If you ain't experienced that, you ain't black enough. Drake didn't experience that. Niggas who didn't experience that don't count as black enough. So you got to keep black folks got to keep black folks in last place to be black.
And that's the part that sucks. That's like that. Because a lot of times, what we are gatekeeping, a lot of times, is the struggle. Like, you didn't struggle enough. Well, why are you trying to keep people out of not struggling enough? You're saying like that's a weird thing to argue for.
I have somewhat of a take on it that the problem is part of like we only see black culture as a struggle because of the people who come in and cosplay it generally effectively, as you talk about an aesthetic, right? If they cosplay black culture as an aesthetic, they do it effectively. They do a effective cosplay, right? And so some of it is that a lot of the people who are coming in cosplaying it are only projecting the parts of the experience that are the worst or the things that are easily spotted, right? And the people who, because of that, it's like because it's not people who have actually lived it and have more of a balanced feel about it, it's being put off as one way. Because like for me, but like growing up in the culture, like in a black area, in the hood, all that stuff, yes, there are negative parts of it, but my whole feeling about it isn't that it's only last place. That's not how I feel about it. Because I've seen it in multiple ways. I've seen the various colors of it. I've seen the good parts of it, the bad parts of it. I've had good feelings about it. I've had bad feelings because I've actually lived it. So I don't feel that way about my culture when I think about it because I've had the experience to see it more in a full way versus the people who come in and just cosplay are only going to project that stuff that they can see or the things you hear about in the news or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of the issue, that a lot of the people like, who are the package haven't had a full
so unpack that cosplay thing. So if you yourself, because you believe in gatekeeping.
No, I don't believe in it, but I think what people want is more gatekeeping. Yeah, I think some of the people, like when we were talking about the sexy red thing, I think what people want is more gatekeeping. Like I think Greg mentioned that white culture does this. We just keep it hush. We only keep it behind certain places. They gatekeep the negative aspects of their culture. And I think that's what some people want. Like they want more gatekeeping. I don't feel that way.
Okay.
But so that's where gatekeeping
like, so
came
anybody can come in and throw in some cornrows and start talking.
I mean, I just think that that's the reality.
And you don't have no problem with it.
I just feel I'm more like that's the reality of a more globalized social media world now.
Okay.
Like I think it's something that you can't really do anymore because TikTok and everybody can witness everybody's culture. We're sharing more now, so I just don't feel like gatekeeping is possible.
Gotcha.
Like it's no point in trying to do that. That's
a
waste of energy. Yeah, that's a waste of energy. So it ain't even really nothing that I feel like we need to gatekeep. So, it's just not possible.
So when you say people cosplay and then you say people want to gatekeep, but you don't feel that it's about the struggle, what do you think people are trying to gatekeep them from? What are we trying to gatekeep them out of?
I think some people I think want to, I think it just depends on it for each person. That may be different. Like I think, like you were saying, for some people it's a shame. Like we have hood rats, we have these negative aspects, and I just don't want people seeing that as the whole of us. I think that's some of it, right? Like I think some people are just like, I don't want people to think that's all we are, so they want to gatekeep it. I think that's a big part of it. And then I think some people just like know the struggles that we went through to get to this point. So now seeing people who haven't gone through that struggle be able to access it, I think that bothers a lot of people. Like MD was just saying, like we were ostracized. Like it was only like 15 years ago where it wasn't normal to wear your natural hair, or you just passed the bill where we could wear our natural hair at work, right? So like people who came up in the community was ostracized about a lot of this stuff and couldn't do it freely. So I think some people are also just salty that now it's just like, oh, it's fine now. And people who didn't have to go through that can access the benefit of it. So I think it's those two things.
So then let me rephrase it then. So it's, I know you disagree with me when I said we're gatekeeping. We're trying to keep people out of the struggle. We're trying to keep people out because they didn't struggle.
Yeah, I think it's more like you wasn't here when I was shooting in the gym, just like people say, like,
got you.
Y'all wasn't here, and if we get shot in the street, half y'all ain't gonna show up.
Right. So I mean, so like,
it's kind of that,
So like that's what I'm saying. So like the gatekeeping for me is still centered around the struggle, because absent the struggle, we would not be gatekeeping. Had we not have paid a price for the things that people are cosplaying, we would not be trying to gatekeep it. Like it's the energy around having paid a price for the things that other people get to put on and then take off.
Yeah.
That's like we're jealous because they don't have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
We had to pay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I think it is. And then like for me, once again, I just don't feel like there's energy to put forward. Like it's a win. Like we can wear our hair now, so what it is, what it is. And the more we can wear, the more people are gonna be exposed to it, and some people are gonna want to put it on. So like that's kind of my take on it. And I don't see the black culture is just a negative thing or a bad thing. So I also don't have this like, oh, we have to hide it, because I think it's a rich culture. I don't see it as just like just bad stuff, just struggle.
Yeah, and the fortunate / unfortunate, however you want to look at it, thing about cultural appreciation is cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
That's a byproduct of what kind of goes along with it. Like not to be like that, breed, but in some circles, people, the kawaii culture in
Oh yeah, I
Japan
brought
might
that
look
up.
at Brie and be like, you fuck her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like she a culture vulture. So it could,
Exactly.
but it wouldn't be no question from us that Brie don't never feel that way. You know what I'm saying? That she does this out of 100% appreciation and reverence for the culture. She shows that. You know what I'm saying? She shows a certain particular stance in how she presents it. So yeah, it's the
It's a
negative.
part of it.
Yeah. It's a byproduct of it.
And that's what I'm like. The part of the exposure is that. And that's why I kind of even brought up that, like taking the conversation out of hood culture. Because like the Harajuku girls in Japan were inspired by hood rats. Like they were inspired by hood rats. And then like now you see all the female rappers are inspired by them.
Hey, shout out to
So
Baps. Y'all
yeah,
remember Baps?
like they were inspired by that. Like all of the
I feel like that
crazy,
let it.
yeah,
I feel
like
like if Halle Berry did any good in Hollywood, it was Baps. Like that's my favorite Halle Berry movie, just because she let it be known. Hey, look, black women, get out here and be fly. Put your hair
so
any
that's what
kind
I'm
of way you want
saying. Like,
to do that.
but it's just part of cultural sharing. I don't think any culture is pure anymore. Like, I don't think any culture is completely pure. I just think everything's kind of getting mixed together. So, like, I don't know. Like, but I think some people are fearful, like what Rashawn is talking about. Like, they want to gatekeep. It's still related to struggle. So I do agree with him there. Or like, if they only see the culture as struggle, it's like, we struggle. Like, some people's experience of black culture is only struggle. So I'm not even gonna hold you there.
But here's the thing, though, right? Like, what is it going to hurt you as a black person? Somebody somewhat borrowing our culture. It's not gonna stop you from being black. It's not gonna stop this struggle that you just need to have to qualify. It's not gonna stop it from happening. It's not gonna stop you from getting discriminated by the police. It's not gonna stop none of that. Why do you feel some type of way? Because they ain't gonna experience it. So it's not about them having to experience it. It's the fact that why you gotta experience it. You the one got it. That's your experience. It's
Yeah,
not
people
going
can't take
to
away. It's not like they're taking away our experience. Is what you're
right.
saying?
Right. It's not diluting your experience of being black because somebody is doing a Drake. Right. So here's where I kind of stand. Unless I've missed an interview somewhere, and I know it's likely because these people do a bunch of interviews and all this other shit. I haven't heard him say anything disrespectful, quote unquote, towards the culture.
Who, Drake?
Yes. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah, Will.
I eat that 100%. I'm just letting you know. I haven't heard him say anything negative about the culture. I've seen him
I
put
can't.
out music, give love to the culture, show love to the culture, show an appreciation to the culture.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny it because I don't keep up with
Right.
Drake outside of what
Right.
I
That's
be
what I'm saying.
hearing
Like I
enough to
haven't
know.
heard. That's why I say I haven't heard
Yeah,
it. It's a bunch of shit. This nigga been out since 2008. 2000.
where's
He
our,
been acting for a long time. So like that's what I'm
where's
saying.
our music? Our music specialist. They did say that Drake did blackface one time, but I don't know.
Okay. I seen that. I did see that.
That was
I
crazy.
did see that.
But I don't know. Is
I
it really
did see that.
blackface or is dark skin face? Because is he black?
If he black and it's just like being a little darker, you know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
Because that's part of the equation that I because he's kind of black, but kind of not black. But I get it. But you know what I'm
Yeah, I can't.
saying?
It's diluting the representation of who said it. His traditional blackface. I hate you so much, Shags. Um, he was wearing dread. He was wearing dreads.
Okay, so
Um,
I give him that. Maybe that was a bad choice. We've all
um,
made bad choices.
well, it's culturally insensitive, but that proves that he ain't from the culture. Because if he was really from it, he would not have done that shit.
You think? Because
Yeah, I
I would
think.
do it.
But I mean, that'd just be like you having on two
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like why?
I don't know why he did it. Let me look it up. Let me see what he was doing. Let me, because I don't really know. I just seen the picture on Twitter. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know what was going on there. Let me see what the uh okay, it's from a single, and he did the minstrel show blackface as a part of. Okay, I'm gonna read it, but y'all go ahead. I'll try to
Because
find.
black people make fun of other black people all the time. Me and Yella just sat up here and did a whole Nigerian skit the other day. Like, and I went, I swapped out and went to black race. So let's stick it to black. Let's keep it to black American. We make fun of people from the South, if from up north. Southerners
Yep.
make fun of people from up north.
Yep.
We make fun of West Coasters. West Coasters make
Yep.
fun of the East Coasters. We talk about women with the Tims. We talk about the black women, especially that are harder than most black men that come out of New York and that come out of what's that city? The Bronx, the borough, the Bronx. Like, there's a lot of black people that make fun of other black people. Will mimic black men dress up like black women to make fun of them. Black women are dressing up like black men, putting on filters, pretending to be them. Like, we put on affects of each other all the time as a joke. So I'm like, why is it then all of a sudden this guy is getting labeled as blackface, even though
Yeah.
he's ethnically black?
Ethnically, but I think that's the whole point of, like, goes back to the question, how do we decide, like, we make fun of each other, like us? How do we
Mhm.
decide when someone is making fun, someone in the group is just roasting, or like me calling Yellow bald head hoe who not like us? Like, okay, I say that's fine. Let that old man who said meaningless and distracted put that as his title. Yellow be ready to fight
Right.
because he not like us. He ain't in the group.
He ain't like us.
So he
Right.
ain't
Right.
like
He
us.
ain't like us.
So is if he was part of the group, would it be seen as egregious? If he was from the culture he was seemingly making fun of or calling upon, would it be as egregious? I think in our experience we would say no, because that's just part of it. We roast, we make fun of each other. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's part of the culture. But if you ain't in the group, I
Yeah.
wish a
But that
Karen
also
would.
that also comes from the understanding because um I was trying to think of a word. Would it be sub 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 sub? It's one of them words. I was gonna say the same way that if you made that title and you didn't mean it in a fun way, I'd be at your head too.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Right. With us being in the group as long as we was.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also an understanding, right?
Right.
So that's why
But that
that's
comes from
why
relationship though. And I think that's where Drake
right,
suffers. Like, the relation
right.
to the culture you're making
So
fun of makes all the difference.
so here's the thing. He's been part of this culture though. Like he's
Ah,
been part of this culture for a long time. Drake been out for a long time. I don't know. I don't know if y'all feel like
you
Drake
talking
a
about
new
Drake the
artist.
musician. We
I'm
talking
talking
about, I
about
think
Drake.
The
I'm talking about
musician.
Drake. Period. Like Drake been around for a long time. Like
But
he been around. Like I don't know what people expected of him.
he's been around, but I mean that's like a
So,
statement. I
so
don't
when
really.
you said Drake's been a part of the culture, which culture are you speaking of?
The culture that he's getting accused of being a vulture of. He's been accepted and allowed in that culture for a long time. Now all of a
Mm,
sudden,
You talking about since okay, so you talking about his music career? Because I'm like previous to him being Drake
okay.
the
So
rapper, but previous to him being Drake the rapper, he was not engaging or a part of the community.
so like
I'm just saying, like, so you're talking about
I
Drake the
don't see
rapper.
it that deep. Okay, maybe it's me. I don't see it that deep. I've never took it as Drake was trying to act like he was a nigga from here. Like I ain't never took it like that.
And
And
I
that's
think
why I
that's
say
what
that's a
Kendrick's
burden.
saying.
That's a right. Okay, so that's a burden. Right. So in another statement, that's a burden that seems to be one that is a problem. Like he's a rapper. Like he's a rapper. When I say he's part of the culture, he's part of rap culture, which rap culture is part of hip hop culture. It's secular, if I believe that's the word, because it's all tied together. He's a part of rap culture, which is a part of black culture. So he's been accepted in rap culture. That's why I'm saying all these niggas was doing songs with him. When
Yeah,
y'all
so
needed
he's
him
still
to be, hold on.
referencing
When
his
y'all
rap
need
career.
right, when y'all needed him to be a part of the culture and do music with you, he was part of it then.
But there are
When
people
Drake
I
was
would
on,
do a. But
no, I'm saying, it's. I know there's people that you would do a stream with because the content that you do is the content that we do typically is going back and forth. But I'm talking about music in a collaboratory way, where you're putting music out together, we kicking it and hanging out. You see what I'm saying? Like I ain't mean to cut you off or assume what you were saying, but I understand what you was talking about. Like I kind of see where that's going. I'm talking about in the music sense, in a collaboratory way. So where we're doing the same thing. Our name is on this thing. We're singing this song is meant to be a thing. They're all doing music together. Now all of a sudden, when it's time to go against him, now everything he's been doing this whole career was culture vulture. Then why the fuck was you on the song with him then?
So we don't think that anywhere along the way he could have changed his mind, or he feels like this is reaching a fever pitch, or yeah, money, nothing.
right, that's my thing. My point was that people will do business with some that they may not agree with personally. You may collaborate in a work effort that's going to make money or art, and you would never hang out with them in real life.
Okay, but
Like I think
the
there
idea,
probably some purists. There are probably some
but the
purists that be
idea
like,
of
I
hip
would
hop
never
ain't
make
never been
music.
like that. Right, that's the point. The idea of hip hop ain't never been like that. Making music
But
with
like
people that you don't like on purpose just to that's never been the idea of hip hop ever. The
but
idea
it
of hip hop
evolved.
if I don't you said what?
It evolved. Like hip
It
hop, like
hasn't.
because even when you were talking, it has. Because even you said it. You said hip hop culture, and then even in your own verbiage, you switched over to rap culture. Hip hop, when it went over to rap, because rap was more commercial, the culture changed. Rap culture is not hip hop culture.
It basically is. It's the same principles. It might not be the same idea, it might not be the same thing, but that there has never changed. That part, that element. You're not going to find rappers who don't like each other doing music together on purpose. Like we just gonna get this bag, but I can't stand you, nigga. Like
I
not like
think
how the
they.
fuck they acting.
Yella. You know the last time they did a song together?
Oh, he got a
I'm
link.
talking about period.
But I'm asking, do you know the last time they did a song together?
Did they do a song
How long
together?
ago was it?
Did they do a
It,
song together?
yes.
I want to know how long ago it
Okay, so
was.
that's my whole point. That's my whole point. You
Okay,
can't do a
so I
song
ask you
with the
again,
nigga and then go back. You
Yella.
can't do a song
Are
with the
you friend?
nigga
Are you still
and then
friends with everybody you was friends with
hold
14
on.
years
You
ago?
can't do a song with the nigga and then go back and be like everything he did was being a culture vulture.
Yella, are you still friends with everybody you was 14 years ago?
No,
Okay, so shit changes.
but
So
it's not because
if
a lot of it ain't because niggas fell out. That's not the same. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
but okay,
Not at all.
so let's show you how culturally clueless this dude is, right? You put on a record that I get more love in your city than you. That's how culturally clueless he is. You don't even have a culture of your own to have your back. Drake can come out with a video and we look at that video and go, oh, that's so Toronto. Because he doesn't represent a culture. That's what people are missing. If Drake would have dropped a song, tell me what type of song he would have dropped and everybody would have immediately heard the beat and heard him flow and said, that's so Toronto. You can't, because we don't know. Soon as Kendrick dropped that song, the first thing everybody said was, damn, that's West Coast. Why? Because he represents a culture. And so for him to have so much of an ego to tell somebody who literally comes and represents that culture that I get more love in there than you, and then to actually name people from that culture. My nigga YG really banging said, hey, my nigga, Kendrick went to school with YG. You did a song with him. And you're so culturally clueless, you think because you did a song with him, that makes you more tapped in than a nigga that literally grew up with him. Like their rise literally coincides with each other. They were in those small amphitheaters together performing. So wh- that's what we mean when we say,
Oh, somebody
Sound
got.
like he
I
said
think
some,
that was Tom. I think that was
sound like he said some shit
background.
in a rap beef that pissed somebody off. Because that's all you really told me. Like niggas say that shit all the
but what
time.
I'm telling you, but what I'm telling you
Like
is
no,
but that's why he took the L. Is what I'm telling you is because he's so culturally clueless. Like if you're the one line I can tell you automatically tells you he's culturally clueless is you rap like you're trying to free the slaves. And Kendrick literally took that line and flipped it on and fucked him up. Anybody with any kind of cultural knowledge would know that's a dumbass line to fucking say in a culture like rap, which was literally built on quote unquote trying to free the slaves raps. Like that's what this shit is built off of. That's what this shit started with. This shit started with young rebellious kids, quote unquote, fighting against the system. It was rebellious music. So you're in that culture and you literally drop a line that say you rap like you're trying to free like that. It's that's what I'm telling you. The reason why he lost this is because of how culturally clueless he is. He made so many mistakes in this battle. It showed that even though that's why I dropped that link in the back. That's the interview before he got on. That's the real him. But you've been in this culture since 2008 and you still don't even understand the culture. You're still culturally clueless. So even to what Arshawn was saying about we talk about each other. Yes, we talk about each other, but guess what? Gay people have jokes about each other. Tommy B can't say them same jokes. Mexicans got jokes amongst each other. Tommy B can't say them jokes. This is common sense. We all know this shit. That's why you got goofies in the chat talking about whiteface. We literally have no history of whiteface being used to oppress anybody. Blackface has a history. And somebody's going to say, oh, that history doesn't matter. What do you mean?
Hey man,
Well, I'm gonna. I guess I'll be the moderator. I'm gonna let it make sure Yella doesn't want to respond, and then IG will get to jump in first, and then we'll go to myself.
And then I dropped the link in the back, Bree.
Oh yeah, I'll pull
The
it up.
interview I'm talking about.
Okay, but yeah, Yella, anything you want to say before?
my whole point is to all of that. You talking about lyrics that he said in the rap battle to piss some niggas off. If that's the sign that he was just culturally insensitive, then y'all could have seen that a long ass time ago. Cause he been the same. I haven't. My thing is this: I ain't seen a switch up in Drake. He been on the same Drake for a long time.
So when you
So
see
now if
that
you telling
video,
me,
Yella, you'll see the switch
wait,
up.
hold on. He been doing the same Drake for a long time. So you telling me now that his actions or bringing some type of awareness of him being a culture vulture, but he was useful as a culture vulture when you wanted to make money with him. That's why it's like you was talking about people that I was friends with. No, that's not how they work. I got people that I'm not friends with because I don't hang around in them circles because I grew out of that shit. It ain't because 14 years later I'm saying, yeah, that nigga was a bitch ass nigga. Fuck him. Like low key, he was grabbing on my girl booty, and I seen him from behind. That ain't why I don't hang with the people that I used to hang with 14 years ago. That's why these niggas don't kick it though. So that's why I'm saying if in the past, hold on, if in the past he fit the cultural mode for you to put him on a song and make some money with him or decide to collaborate with him, but now you're talking about, because they ain't just saying that, oh yeah, he did some shit recently. The claim is that his entire presentation from day one has been culture vulture. Yet you was a part of it. You were a step in that. You was right there with him, arm around next to him, taking the little look pose. They got the picture of Kendrick and Drake standing there. Yeah, we just made a song together. He fit the mode when you needed him to fit the mode to make some money, but now all of a sudden, it's all this other shit.
But you're acting like new information doesn't present a new outlook, and that's what I'm telling you. In 14 years, new information has been presented. He hasn't fucked with him in 14 years.
Did he just become Canadian like in the last 7 years or some shit? Okay. Like did he just become a nigga from Toronto in like 7 years? I swear to God, like all this, like the video wait, hold on. Didn't you just put a video in the back about who he really is?
Yes.
When did that video take place?
I don't know, but I know that I didn't see it until
I think it was maybe before
a couple years ago.
Long before, right?
Before.
Okay then. So when did the new information come? The nigga was born in Canada. Niggas knew that shit. The nigga wasn't raised here. The niggas knew that shit. But when it was time to make money with him, and do all this,
it has nothing to do with him being born in Canada, dog.
You said what?
It has nothing to do with him being born.
Oh my God, that's the whole. All right, I'm done.
Okay, well, before we move on, what from your assessment, I'll let everybody answer this before they bring in, what from your assessment is the issue that they're talking about? Because you're like, it's not that just that he's born in Canada, which I agree with. It's not just that.
It's people gatekeeping on a beef. Those people have problems with each other, and every modern issue that we have comes up. 50, 60 years ago, Black people didn't have these issues because they were like, you know what? No matter what, Black is Black. If they had a problem, it was kept in house. Now, it's this over analytical. Oh, I'm special. I have to put myself in this label. People are attaching themselves to a beef that has nothing to do with them. I got a job application for you.
Okay.
I got a disagreement for that when we get back around to it.
Okay, we'll go around. IG, what do you think is the issue people have with, or what their assessment of what Kendrick is saying is, and kind of like.
Oh, and really quickly, I'll just say this really quickly. Gatekeeping on what it is to be Black. Go to Africa. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Ghana. I've been to Egypt. Go to Africa. They will call you white to your face, no matter how Black you are. So we're talking about like American Canadian view.
Well, but
I think we're talking about Black American.
Yeah, and that's the thing. See, okay, and
which is not a monolith.
And I'm about to do a thing here. My so-called life. I want to ask you a question, right? And this is not. Are your parents from a Hispanic heritage that came to this country after 1965 immigration?
No, I come from Black Africans on both sides.
Well, no, okay.
No, so I come from the established Americans who were here. Like, I literally have a Confederate coat that was in my desk that was handed down through my family from the Civil War on.
So your people were here in the sense of they don't come from another country. They don't come from, meaning that they were here doing redlining, Jim Crow, Reconstruction, correct?
From the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I want to kind of point out, because when people say propagating blackness. I do that too, because here's the thing: when we say people of color, Hispanics gatekeep Hispanic. They break from that. Then they break and say that, okay, I'm not just Hispanic, I'm Cuban and Puerto Rican. So when it comes to blackness in America, you can't really be black unless, because that term was established during the 1619s to denationalize African slaves and indigenous people who were already here. So
That's
in
why I
order to
fight
be
so hard.
in order to be black, technically, we're not talking about Negroid genophenotype. We're not talking about skin color. The classification of being black only exists in the antiquity of the United States. Therefore, when Nigerians, yes, they are Negroid genophenotypes. Caribbeans, they are Negroid genophenotype. But that's why a Puerto Rican or a black Dominican or a Negro Dominican will say, I'm not black, I'm not Dominican. I don't take no offense to it because I understand that they understand that their national origin isn't described through an adjective.
I
When it comes to Black Americans whose ancestry who was here prior to 1965 immigration, it's a different thing. You don't see Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Venezuelans in this country ingratiating Black Americans into their culture on a political, on a entertainment style. So it's not a reciprocal thing. So that's one thing I kind of want to point. It's not like it's a thing where, okay, you see as many Black Americans going in Tejano. You see as many Black Americans being embraced in classical music. I'm classically trained myself. So it's not the reciprocity. It's not the same thing. So when you consider what is being ADOS, American descendant of slaves, or Black American, that's a different thing. So when we say that we're gatekeeping blackness, we're not doing nothing that nobody else does when it comes to this country.
that
Eh,
that still doesn't make it right. That
I'm
still
not
doesn't
saying
mean
about
that.
wrong.
Like,
It's not
hold on,
about
hold on. You said all that
it's not
just
about
to
hold on. It's not about wrong or right. It's not about wrong or right.
let me
It's not
mute
about this.
myself.
Not a moral. This not a moral conversation. It's about what is fact and what it is. It's not about wrong or right. I'm saying that this is how it moves, and you know that's the truth because how we move in this country. So there is a gatekeeping of all ethnicities. There is a gatekeeping of national origin. That's kind of like a cop out. We only do this with Black Americans because it was something that was intentional. Blackness was outlined to protect Caucasoid whiteness. It has
Oh, I
nothing
wish I
to
could
do
dox
with the.
myself.
It
My
has nothing
entire
to do
family's
with the. Hold
history.
on, but it has nothing to
There's
do.
somebody who
But
has the same name as me who works at the Ohio State. I don't want to
but
dox
yeah, but I'm
myself. He's a
asking you. But
Hold on.
professor. You could literally,
As
you could literally see my entire lineage because this man has built his entire career on it. It's based on my family. I think what's happening is we're going off and talking about the same thing. Gatekeeping, it happens, but I'm gonna come up against it because I come from black people that work for NASA, that own land, that aren't a stereotype. So when
hey,
people start saying that black people are a stereotype, I will come at you because there's no such thing. There's no there, it's not a monolith.
but
right,
it's
but
And
still
there
if,
is
and
people
but there
out
is
here.
if
a
you want to
but
if you
Hold
there's
on.
want
an
to get down to it,
overwhelming. But you're an exception.
my
You're
family, but
you're
my family comes
you're
from Savannah, Georgia, and Clinton, South Carolina.
You're an
Like,
but
come on,
that's the thing. But you're
come
an
on.
exception. Okay, that's the one thing. I too can play that game. I had a single father who accepted my sexuality. I can't go around projecting what I'm not going to do as a same gender loving ADOS American man and say, oh, because I have the exception of having the single father household, that somehow, yes, that's an exception. I am not going to, when I look at the macro, when I look at the overwhelming
That
majority,
that's
I
exactly
am
what I
not
said.
going to use that as a barometer, as a gauge to say, oh, that is the representative of how monolithic we are. No, that's an exception. Unfortunately, we live in a society where it's majority, minority, the majority rules, democracy. So I'm going to say that in that sense, that's the exception. And the only reason why I asked you that, my so-called life, because you look racially ambiguous, and I'm saying so far as looks. So
Oh, it's
that's
because
why.
my mom's Yella.
Right, right, but do they speak Spanish? Don't you have some type of
I
Latino?
know I speak Spanish fluently. I'm multilingual. I speak many languages.
Because of
It,
geographical.
it's not because of who I am. It's because of where I live, and
Hmm.
I'm addicted to money. The more
Hmm.
languages you speak, the more money you
Of
make,
course.
hands down. I literally get paid right now because I speak Spanish. People literally bring me in situations to moderate.
Right.
Let me interject. I want
And hold
Rashawn
on, really quick.
to
Actually, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, because I was gonna say, if Drake was full black, would we be having this combo? I think that's what Dury asked, and I just want to say yes, because the conversation is not just about Drake being racially black.
Right.
The conversation is not about him being racially black alone. It's
Yeah, but the
about
insecurities come
hold
out
on,
instantly.
but
The
it's the
insecurities come out
what
instantly.
Kendrick was pointing out was about the ethnic, like his cultural experience
What the
is not
Kendrick Lamar comes from a gentrified Compton. Get
okay,
out of here. He comes from a gentrified
but
Compton. He doesn't even
what
know
can,
he
but
doesn't
we're
even
not
realize what was going on
but what
from
he's
my
talking
generation.
about is it doesn't matter if Kendrick probably he's not saying everybody has to come from Compton. If
Exactly.
Drake came from Harlem, if Drake came from Atlanta, if Drake came from
It-
anywhere else in America and had an experience as a Black American, this probably wouldn't be a conversation.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's
because people
where
are insecure.
I
Like
mean,
I
well,
don't
Bree,
we
think
can say that, but that's the
Bree,
You can
realm of
say
where the
that,
conversation is
but
coming
the
from. Hold
only reason
on,
why.
let Tommy. I heard Tommy B's voice come in, so
Okay.
let me let
it's
him.
it's not even that. He's from Toronto and he didn't even live the black experience in Toronto.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I
Like
can
that's my
find
whole
you an
point,
interview where he literally was raised as a Jewish boy, had bar mitzvahs and everything.
right? And that's my
That's a
point.
fact.
It's not about his race of his mom is white, his dad is black. We're not having this conversation from he's not black
Right.
enough racially. We're having a conversation from his lived experience. Has he
Lineage.
lived the experience of a black man? And like I agree with Tommy to some degree. If he had the black experience in Toronto, we maybe wouldn't even be having this conversation. But I
And
mean, I can't
hold on,
really say that.
Bree.
I don't know.
Hold on, I'll give you an example.
I wouldn't give him that. I
Tory
still believe.
Lane,
Man,
Tory
hold on,
Lane,
man.
Tory
This
Tory
Lane's
is
from
Lane lived
Canada.
the Tory Lane
hold
lived the
on,
black experience
man.
in Canada.
Yeah, Tory
Hold on.
Lanez was from Canada.
Come on, man. I'm finna go full boosie right
Tory
now.
Lanez
Come
is a
on.
buster. Tory Lanez is a buster who came to
Come
California and
come
got
on,
caught by
man.
the
Hold
cops.
on, hold on now. Hold on now. We had this
Yeah,
whole
go ahead.
conversation. We had this whole conversation the other day.
Yeah.
Real shit. We just had this conversation earlier. And y'all was saying is the fact that this nigga wasn't born in America. It was saying the fact that this nigga was nice. Nah, it ain't really got to do nothing. He didn't have the black.
And that what I just
That
said.
was
Listen,
hold on,
I
hold on, hold
wasn't
on.
here
Wait
for
a
that
minute, because
convo, Yella.
that was my whole point earlier was that he could have had the black experience in Canada. Just
But he
because
didn't.
you have bar mitzvahs and raised Jewish, don't mean that you ain't Jewish and black.
Okay,
That
let's
don't
Well,
mean
go.
that you don't have the black experience.
Okay,
and saying that Africans and
out of his
Ghanaians and
own
all these
mouth,
people
Yella. Hold on,
are
hold on, hold on.
not. That's
Yella, this
crazy.
is out
That's
of
just
his
crazy.
own
That's more
mouth.
separation and self hatred.
Yeah, we
Oh
know
man.
this.
Like
This
First
is
is
what Drake has said.
first is
I can
because
find
he
you the
was.
interview.
But I'm saying this conversation has went first because he ain't from America. Now it's not because he ain't from America. It's not because he was born in Canada.
Well,
It's
I can
because he
only
didn't
speak
have
from
the
my
black
point of view.
experience.
I
I
can
brought
But
in
only
hold on, hold on, hold
America
on.
because he's
But
emulating
but you're saying we
Black
but hold on,
American
hold on.
culture.
But you're saying if he was full black, we would be having this same conversation. But when I brought up Kendrick, who hasn't lived the same experience as the niggas on his block, who wasn't that type of nigga who was out here doing all that type of hood shit like the niggas who he tried to put himself around. Now it's well, if he know them,
wait.
he basically
What?
vicariously lived the experience through them.
So
And
do
he
you know?
That's not.
Do,
oh man.
y'all got to understand the California, like, bro, like, okay, just
Explain
because
Cali hoods to
you
me.
wasn't
Explain
hang,
Cali hoods.
just because you wasn't hanging out of a car shooting at Mac, doesn't mean you didn't live that life. You can be a square in California and still get banged on. Like he's literally tied in with the Pyrus. Like that's why I said that was an idiotic move for Drake to even speak on YG because this politics there he don't even understand. And I think everybody has this thing that if you're in California, you got to be old dog to be basically tapped into that type of a life. A lot of in California to even have those experiences, you don't have to be tied in. This nigga that had to go to funerals, the homies and they got smoked. Like that's a fact. And then I won't even speak on what was spoke on when he was 16. but it's some shit that went down when he was 16 that's known out here or whatever. But even beyond that, even when you talk to like AD, I don't know if y'all know AD, but AD is an LA rapper. He even speaks on the first time that he seen K Dot. What did K Dot do? K Dot banged on the nigga because he thought he was a nigga that he had got into it from somewhere. So for y'all to think that just Kendrick is just like this suck ass, square ass, nerd ass nigga off somewhere, that's that's completely off. I think you
You
guys
know
see
about
this
that
this
Pyru.
this I think you guys see these mascots that get in front of the camera like the game, and everybody thinks that's the formulation of what, if you're from this set or whatever, or you from this lifestyle, you gotta look like that. If you listen to Good Kid Mad City from front to back, it's literally like a biographical movie of his life. He literally explains his experience in his life of having to go through that, of having to move through the streets of Compton or whatever. What I'm explaining to you is, out of Drake's mouth, I grew up in an upper class Jewish neighborhood. That's out of his mouth. That's why I put that video in the back for Bree, because that's a conversation where he was having, where he was even talking shit about motherfuckers using slang words, talking about how it's what do you say, it's I can't remember what it said in the video, but he's basically talking about how idiotic it is to talk like that. But yet you're in a industry where you basically monetize off of that behavior.
Okay. That was some good. I know Rashawn had wanted to say something a long time ago. I know he probably don't mind jumping in, but I just wanted to give a spot if he wanted to
Hey, 'cause
interject.
I'm up here all the time. I'm gonna let you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna let the guests get their stuff off. But I do want to say though, before I rebut to my so-called life's point, um, I do want to acknowledge what Yella's saying. Drake is still a black man. His father's black. He is still black.
Agree.
He has had some version of a black experience, whether we respect it or not. That's on us. But he does not get the treatment from the world of a white person, which is typically what we're comparing a black experience to. We're not getting the same access and privilege that white people get and give themselves. When we're talking about black experience, we're talking typically about our juxtaposition against whiteness. Almost all the time, that's what we're talking about, whether we know it or not. We're talking about the juxtaposition of blackness against whiteness. The word black is the juxtaposition against white. So whether we know it or not, we're talking about our relationship to and against whiteness. So Drake did not get the full white experience. We know everybody that's biracial, light, passing, they still carry a feeling of fear or trepidation of being discovered if they're passing. If they're not passing, they're not black enough. People deal with that all the time. We've talked about that for years. Light skin privilege. Talked about y'all, you Christopher Williams, but yeah, you pretty boys for the light skinned dudes. You're soft if you're light skinned. So we know, although he did not have a black experience that maybe we respect, he still had a black experience. So I do want to put that on the table. When we talk about the black existences, because Drake, like if he's black and Jewish, that's still a black experience, but that's not the one we're talking about today. The default for the black experience is the stereotype. We're having a general conversation. So they're like, this is against Yella. Like we're having a general conversation. So when we're talking about the black experience and we're qualifying somebody against the black experience, we're talking about against the stereotype, the generalities, our connection to and through whiteness, our connection to and through each other, and typically our connection to and through poverty, drugs, and violence. Those things that come together typically inform our experience. Because when we talked about, that's why Bree kept bringing up gangs when you were talking about hood, because for some people, those come together. If you're from the hood, well, you must be talking about gangs and drugs and some prostitution and poverty. You must be. Like that's part of our mentality. That's the way we understand blackness a lot of times, and that's when we fight it. When Sexy Red gets on the TV, we fight against it because even though we feel it and understand that, we're like, oh, y'all, we don't want everybody seeing that. Let's not put that. No, we don't want to put that out there. Everybody, don't have her out there with a pager on her. What is it? The ankle monitor. We don't want everybody to see that. So that's a real feeling that comes up. My brain was on something else on my brain.
I'm stuck in the past. I was like, "Woo,
fucking boomer."
Hey, but what you want to refute my point or what?
Yes, but you said black is not black is you said black was black once upon a time, but in America, Black was never black because when they were slaves, they were house versus field niggas. Then after
I still
that,
call
we
people
had
slavers. I call gatekeepers slavers. I get it. I
right.
get it.
Yeah,
No
yeah, yeah.
matter what you have, though, you will have sellouts. Do you know there is an actual statue to a coon? I can't remember his name. He was the dude. I think it was Harper's Ferry or something. But he was about to tell when they were about to do a raid, and they killed his ass because he
Yes.
was about to
Yeah.
tell. You know,
I
Yeah.
mean,
I think
but
it was.
that's
I can't.
Rashawn finished the
But
finish the point.
yeah, but my point on that was like some every now and then we'll get on this thing where like we get like romanticization. Like there's some point in the past, like white people do the MAGA. Let's make America great again. Like what was the again? Because back then y'all were trying to get somewhere else. Whenever the then was that y'all think y'all trying to get back to, they were trying to progress to something totally different. They weren't happy where they were. They were trying to get closer to here, and you're trying to go back to there where they wanted to escape from. Same thing with black people. Everything that we try to harken back to out of our nervousness and anxiety, like back then we didn't have these. Okay, black families were together, but they were also forced because they would have got killed. Y'all were separated, y'all was getting killed, y'all were getting hunted down. Y'all, do you want to go back to that just so y'all can have togetherness and bonding?
Right.
No, nobody wants to go back to the great time of family togetherness because that was slavery because you were forced on a plantation. After that, Reconstruction, you still were lumped together in close proximity because they didn't let you move around freely. After that, once we could move
Regardless,
around freely, our
there's a light
families
skin.
started to separate.
See,
What's
y'all
up,
can't
world
hang.
class?
Hey,
Y'all
work
can't
So
class.
like,
hang. Light skin, dark skin
so
is whack.
going back to blackness, we have to reestablish something because every other form of family and community that we've had was informed from trauma. So we'd have to build something outside of a trauma response, a terrorism response. We'd have to form something out of love as opposed to fear from hate, and that's what we haven't done. So black wasn't always black because they were separated then. In Reconstruction, they were separated. They did the mulattoes, octoroon, quadroons. They were still classifying each other in Reconstruction.
But that was
Jim Crow,
white
they were
people.
still
That
doing
wasn't.
these people are black people are doing this too. Black people talking about passing. I even found slave narratives. They called them a free issue. A free issue was a person who was born from interracial marriage or interracial relationship. A black and a white
My
person, they
whole
called them a
point.
free issue because they could be born into freedom because they were light enough. So no
Mm.
You
matter
know,
how far back you go
I'm
into
speaking
America,
from
there's verbiage for black people separating each other based on color.
that
Right.
again. That's white supremacy, and because
But
we
it's
have this
part of the culture.
illusion of standing on the other side, we're now gatekeeping each other. We don't
Right.
need white
But I'm saying
supremacy. We don't need white
if you
supremacy when we have people just pulling each other down. Like,
but here's the thing,
okay,
myself,
good
real quick,
classification. Okay,
real
good
quick.
classification. Good classification. Okay, good. How did that work out?
But what
It
I'm saying
it
is you
works.
can't have blackness without white supremacy because black is a
Is
result of
I
white
right.
get it. I
supremacy.
get it.
The
I'm
word
not
black,
sitting here arguing
yeah,
against any of that.
yeah,
I'm a result of it. I'm just gonna fight
yeah.
against it. I'm telling you, I do not stand for any white supremacy talking points. If you come against people of color, I'm gonna look at you like you are, because it's the system that you are in, and you literally, it trips me out. It trips me out how shitty people treat each other, not
Yeah.
realizing that affects the black community. I've been all over, and let me tell you, people don't say shit to my face. They are so polite. They are so nice. So
But
it
you
it,
know,
it trips me out when we get online and we have these arguments.
but it sounds like to me, so-called life, you conflate people of color with blackness, and those two are not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't
People,
like being called a person of
yeah,
color.
see, because that's
Uh,
why I asked you. Like that's why
I
I
regardless,
hate it.
asked you.
Don't
that
call
Are
me a
you?
person of color. I
Because
hate
you.
it.
That's
you
why
are what
I
I
asked
call
you.
you. That's that
That's
new age
Bring
shit.
your
That is
person
that
of
new
color.
age
no.
generation. You
No.
are what you call what I
No. It's
call
not
you.
new age. It's
Bring your
actually
person of
quite.
color.
It's actually quite old and political. Because here's the in political. Because here's the
Bring
thing.
Pac.
But before the term people of color, right? You have the descendant of Negroes, coloreds, African Americans. People of
You know
color,
you
hold
like
on.
I agree with you.
People of color did not exist in this country
We
till
are
when
singing in
you
the
look
same choir.
when you look at the census and before 1965 immigration, before you had all these different nationalities of blacks who people who conveniently came after the civil rights movement, who came conveniently after redlining, who came conveniently after Jim Crow, right? The people that who are the descendants of Negroes and colors who can trace their lineage via census, right? That's a different type of positionality. So it's not the same. People of color came after immigration. Blackness, and another thing is that's a fucking cop out about it being this universal thing. That's a lie. Because you can see after 1965, okay, the black immigrants who come here, you notice black Americans, ADOS Americans, yes, you'll see other people come from other countries. And when
I
the
never
Haitians
said
come,
anything
when
about
the Haitians, hold
universal
on, when the
anything. No, no,
Haitians
no, no.
come,
You put words
hold
in my
on,
mouth. I never once said
when the
anything about
Haitians,
a universal.
when the Haitians,
You,
hold on,
I'm
let me
painting a
finish.
picture, and you may have
When,
taken that. In
when the
no way did I
Haitians
say
come,
anything about unity
when
ever,
when the
ever,
Haitians come to this
ever.
country, they build only with Haitians. When the Jamaicans come to this country, they build same thing with Chinese. Chinese are not worried about Filipinos or Asians, Koreans or Asians. It's the same thing. When Koreans come to this country, they
It
don't
trips me
vote.
out because
They
I come from
they
the black version of what you're talking about. I come from black people who were like, "Hey, let's buy land. Let's make sure our kids go to college. Let's make sure that
right.
every
But
single
but but
person
but
has
when you
enough
say
money
black,
to own a
so
home."
and I'm just asking, I'm making sure you understand when I ask you the question, because you said African. I mean not African. African is not blackness. I mean black American. It because you talk like a person that has like a person that's outside of a black American. And I'm not talking about your class, I'm talking about your view. You talk like a person of color and not a black person. That's why I'm just kind of asking, like, are you, what is your lineage? Because your lineage is not your skin color. Your lineage is your national background, meaning that, okay, my folks were in America. My
We
grandma,
already
great.
established this. Hold on, hold on. We already established this. You're
Yeah,
going
no,
back
I
on
get.
something that you literally are going back on a point that we already
Yeah, no,
talked
no,
about.
I get that. I'm going back on
You
that point, but
and
I'm
how you
saying,
feel about me
but you
is
conflate.
moot.
No, it's not about
Let's
how I
take
feel
no,
about
no, no,
you.
because you keep on going on me and you're trying to make it personal. There is
No, I'm
nothing
not
you can
making it
say or do to me that
personal.
will ever. I will laugh at you right here.
I'm not
I'm trying to
making it
help you
personal.
out. Let's take the subject somewhere else. Let's take
I'm
the
not.
subject away from me
I'm not making it
because it's
personal.
becoming
I'm just
personal.
saying
No, I'm not. I'm not
you can.
conscious. I'm not
It
going to
sounds
sit here
like
and have
you're
a fallout
conflating
on
people
live
of
on air.
color and
Take the
blackness,
subject
and they're
somewhere
not the
else.
same.
Take the subject somewhere else because I obviously hurt your feelings. If
No,
you
my
can't
feelings are
handle what
not
I
hurt.
say, then no, you can't handle what I say. So let's take it in a more broad. Let's take it in a more broad conversation so we can take the insecurities and the feelings out of it. Because I haven't
That's
said
what you're
one bad thing
conflating.
about you. I haven't. I don't
I'm
play
not
that game.
saying
I don't.
nothing
I'm too
bad
grown for
about you
that.
by
I'm too
asking
grown
a
for that. So
stupid
no.
question.
Bring the subject back to what we were talking about instead of how you feel. Because quite
It's
honestly, I don't
Y'all
care
was
how you feel.
it's not about how I feel. It's about
No, but
I'm asking
you
those.
told me you present yourself this and this.
I
That is
ask those
moot in life.
questions.
That is moot.
I
What
ask
is your
those
point? I
questions
hurt your
when I'm talking.
feelings, and
No,
so now we're talking about, oh,
I would
you are not this
do
or
I
I
ask
have
this, or
those
I
to
hurt
type
your
of questions
feelings.
to
What is your
anybody
point?
when I'm having those type of conversations. It's nothing personal. I'm not upset. I ask those
I
type of
come from
questions.
African slaves just as you do, and all of a sudden we are having this
Well,
conversation
no, because but
twice,
that's a no,
twice. No,
but
you
that's
came
not
back
a but
around,
that's
so
not a
now I'm gonna
nuance.
stop you
No, the
because
reason
you
why I'm
came
going
back
back when you
around. You
say
have no
African,
point except for I hurt your feelings. Come
no,
on,
African.
come on.
You can have
Pause
African
real quick.
slaves
Pause,
that
IG.
you can
Pause
have
real quick.
African slaves that come from South
Pause.
America.
Pause on
You
this,
can
pause.
be an
Pause,
African
player.
slave that come from
Pause,
the
player.
Caribbean.
Pause.
That
Okay,
You
I have to pause.
obviously
and then
cannot
you said
handle
I
you're
the
can
gonna have
pause
to.
you real
conversation.
quick. Pause,
Let's
pause,
take
pause,
it.
pause, 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 fellas,
Hold
pause,
on.
real quick. Let's get some order real quick. Now listen. I get what happened. I get the verbiage, and I also get this as a topic that we all feel passionately about. But before I want to let IG finish. Now, my so-called life, I know you love debating, but I want IG to finish his point. But IG, if you wouldn't mind, like, don't throw questions back to my so-called life as about
And
like
if you
his
make it
personal views.
personal, I will fucking
My soul,
clown you.
my soul. Pause. Come on, bro.
No, I was
Breathe,
being
bro.
polite, but
Breathe.
motherfuckers always want to bring in people's lives and
Breathe. My
shit.
soul.
Like, hey,
But my
but
soul.
that
Hold up. But
matters.
listen,
I was being polite.
Hold up. My soul. Listen. Hold up. Everybody chill.
Why are you
Hold
offended by
up.
that?
Hey, you brand
Real
new
quick.
now. You brand new now. I ain't know.
Hold up, myself, real quick. I'm just, hold up, because you can't pause yourself. I'll pause you real quick. Hold up, player. Hold up. Now listen, people's backgrounds do matter because your point of view and your perspective, it informs where you're coming from. It informs your point of view. So I do want to get that in, but we got to be able to. We have to be able to complete sentences. I do want to let IG get his point across in a second, but I also want to finish. Hey, you can come back, myself. I wasn't trying to. Myself, I'm out. But I wanted to answer because when I was answering, I was trying to get all my stuff out real quick. But I wanted to answer Dury's question ago because he put up that question a minute ago.
I heard
Yes, Dury, full black doesn't exempt you from gatekeeping. And what I was going to say, some of it came to fruition during this entire conversation. Yella said Kendrick wasn't black enough because he's like, who's us? You're not black. You're not like us. You're an elitist. Bree has talked about her coming up. She said she wasn't black enough and was unsure if she'd even marry a black man because she wasn't black enough. Shaq said when I talked about the black and the wigs that I was from Columbus. He would expect that of me. So to Shaq's, I wasn't black enough. So we always in group gatekeep based upon different dynamics of blackness, the way you look, the way you act and speak, who you're from, who your people's is, like what you know, all of that. We gatekeep on a lot of things, no matter how black you are. People are going to gatekeep your blackness because it's a feelings thing. But I wanted to get that out real quick. I want IG to finish his point. My so-called life, I'm going to bring you back in, but IG, finish your point, please.
And the only reason why, like, I asked people, because even if it wasn't, if you say I speak from African, I'm going to ask, okay, was it, because yes, you can be a descendant of African slaves if you're Hispanic. You can, or Puerto Rican.
Fuck, are we going back on this, bro? Fuck.
Can I finish
my man, come on, man. Come on.
Hey, yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on. No, real talk. Hold on. First of all, we can't keep we shouldn't be having to be stepping in the conversation like this. Like real shit.
Hey, if you say some crazy shit,
hold on, my soul.
No. You call them
my soul. We gonna mute everybody. If you unmute yourself again if you unmute yourself again.
Fuck you, I'm out. Peace.
No. All right, bro. It is what it is.
Fuck that. You can't hang.
It is what it is.
Get money, don't be broke.
Stop unmuting your damn self, man. God damn it. Fuck that.
Dang.
Because the both of y'all keep unmuting yourself and being fucking petty. He said stop talking about it. My soul won't shut the fuck up. This ain't that channel won't never be this motherfucking channel. We ain't finna be arguing when you did. You unmuted yourself a bunch of fucking times.
Damn.
My soul, I could be a fucking punk. Respect the goddamn people who running the channel. We ain't been no channel where motherfuckers gonna argue. We ain't gonna never be no fucking channel where motherfuckers argue. This ain't that. I could be a whole fucking punk. I could be all that fucking shit. I'm sitting here watching this shit go down. The both of y'all kept unmuting yourself after we said stop both fucking times. I ain't got no reason to lie on both of y'all. That's why y'all up here. Don't nobody have to fucking come up here. Ain't nobody finna do this goddamn shit. If you don't want to act like you got some fucking sense, then don't hit the fucking link. Y'all ain't seen nobody arguing up here, have you? No. Because we don't do that fucking shit over here. Have the conversation without your personal motherfucking feelings. Ain't nobody finna fucking sit over here and only talk to hosts, keep unmuting their goddamn self. I'm sitting here fucking watching it. Ain't nobody real tough online. Y'all sitting up here screaming. Y'all the two idiots going back and forth. Chill the fuck out. That's all I motherfucking said to you. Was chill the fuck out. And you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. So chill out. Because you super tough. I'm sitting up here vouching for you, nigga. Yeah, the nigga was super disrespectful. Because he came back to it after you said stop multiple times. But guess what you did? You didn't listen when you was told to chill. You kept unmuting yourself. Laugh at me, bro. This don't even fucking matter. Right. Nothing's going to happen out of it except you not coming up here no more. That's it. That's why we ain't been dropping the link. This ain't never finna be that. Y'all can bitch and complain, do whatever. We can have a conversation, we can do whatever. But all that unmuting yourself, continuing to argue, this ain't never been that channel. It won't be. Because now niggas showing their real true colors. You've been coming up here all this time. You've been coming up here for months, kicking it all this time. And motherfuckers tell you chill one time and you start acting like a little bitch. That's why we don't trust motherfuckers. Because you can't be chill. So when I tell niggas this we cool, this what the fuck I mean. Because it's mighty fair for you to come around and do all this other shit. But when niggas start telling you to chill and be cool, now I'm a butthurt rookie. No, nigga. Motherfuckers actually sticking up for you. Niggas up here every day. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's why I don't fuck with weird ass niggas now. Nigga come up here twice a week. We sit up here, talk music, talk shit, have all this motherfucking time, but you can't be man enough and bold enough to chill the fuck out when the niggas that you hang with all the time tell you to chill the fuck out. That's why niggas fall into the motherfucking line they do. Because of dumb shit like this. That's why I don't trust niggas. Because the niggas sit with you for goddamn twice a week. Hit the link every motherfucking time. He don't want to switch up on you. Fuck y'all niggas. As far as I'm concerned, don't nobody have to be up here but the 3 people up here.
So, yo, I'm bringing IG back in. We're going to jump back into the conversation. Man, now listen. This is a sensitive topic. I get it. I like conversations with sensitive topics, but we have to be able to handle sensitive topics with sensitivity. Like that's a part of it. We won't anything when we talk about there's no point in having a conversation about the Black community without it furthering towards being able to collaborate, which means sometimes being able to sit our ego aside and be in uncomfortable spaces and have uncomfortable conversations because we're going to disagree on stuff. Sometimes we're going to have things that trigger us. So we're going to get triggered. Me and Yella have had back and forth because we got triggered about some stuff and we've hashed it out. Sometimes on stream, sometimes off. That's a part of life. Now, I enjoy my soul's presence on the conversations. He's super passionate and something got him triggered. Everybody has a bad day. For me, I'm going to couch it on a bad day. It was a topic, got triggered. Something happened. I don't know his life. I don't know where that sensitivity comes from that got him triggered. I don't know it. But I know when I talk about the Black experience, I know we have things that get us hot that may not be reasonable for everybody else. So I'm not going to immediately think, bam, something's wrong with this dude. I'm like, we all got that thing. We all got something that gets us hot real quick. We all got it. That's what I believe. That's part of what coming up in this country will do to you. So I'm going to leave some grace there. But I respect how my soul feels about what happened. I respect how IG feels about it. And I will respect about how Yella feels about it because everybody said what they said. But I believe when things calm down and it's not a different topic, we can all feel differently. We got to be able to move past these disagreements that are not about us personally, or all of these conversations are moot. Like completely moot. Like even airing your grievances online is moot because you're not even willing to do anything on the back end of it. If you're not even willing to process your own feelings, all of this is a waste of time. So that's just me. That's how I feel about it. But everybody that was up here, regardless of what happened today, I know we get triggered about different things, and race is a sensitive topic. I've been up here blaspheming the name of Jesus. And I know I ran people off. You know what I'm saying? I get it. We talked about gender and sexuality. I know that's run some people off. I get it. Every conversation is not for everybody. And regardless of what happened today, everybody involved, I got no ill feelings. I just know that some topics get people hot. And some days just ain't your day. And I'm going to leave that there until I see repeated behavior. You know what I'm saying? But I want IG to come back on his point. 'Cause I know that's where we left off at.
It's like in going into without like okay, I think that everybody asks those questions because when I deal with a lot of different nationalities and culture of folks, I'm asked those questions. Sometimes when I ask questions like that, it's not as a personal attack. It is just like you
Yeah.
were saying, Arshawn, for me to get like, okay, that's probably where you're framing this from. Because based off of that, because I was about to even say, like President Obama, yes, I use different languages. I might use words like geneticist and say Negro or genophenotype. Yes, I would say that President Obama was the first biracial, half white president, but he's the part of him that is Negro or genophenotype is Kenyan. Kenyan is East Africa, which is not connected to the West African slave trade here in the States. So when Obama, so I was going to say that just to add on, when people got mad at Obama for saying he's not going to do anything specifically for black people because it makes sense for him to have that framework because the part of him that is Negroid genophenotype isn't anchored in West African slavery. The part of him that is white is Jewish. So that you can't expect everyone whose kinfolk is not all kinfolk. And that is true. In this country, and I'm gonna shit this and put this down, it's not just with black folks there. That's what I want to point out. With the Mongolian race of people, didn't we not in this country fight in the Korean War? Where you have Mongolian genophenotype people and North and South Korean people who share the same haplogroup are warring and killing each other based off of what? Nationalism, culture, religion, territory, tribalism. So it isn't a thing where it's just Negroid or black people. It's something that we are taught here in America as people who are is descendants of 1965 immigration. We are taught that there is this flat identity. But everyone else, I mean every single other person outside the country, views themselves tribally and nationally. And that's what I was just trying to kind of get out to asking those type of questions because maybe I was wrong. I don't think I was wrong for saying, well, if you sound like you're speaking from a person of color's perspective, from a person who is not a person of color, who is ADOS, who is a Black American, who ancestor is not connected in from Africa, diaspora, or a country or continent. That's a different nuance. I am going to frame how we have this conversation differently. And I wasn't trying to poke, I'm not upset or anything. So that's what I kind of want to say. We can continue the conversation, Dave. I'm enjoying your yellow. I got respect for you, dog. Look, I wasn't unmuting.
I think you were getting like I think some of
Yeah,
us
I
were
wasn't
running the
unmuting big
controls and
dog. I
muting and
wasn't
unmuting
unmuting.
each other.
I wasn't unmuting the thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel you. Like, I wasn't unmuting. That's all I want to say. You feel me? But I'm enjoying the conversation. I don't have nothing against my so called life. I don't know him from a can of paint. I just was asking certain questions to try to understand. Okay, maybe this is why you're framing that. So that's all that was. But I'm gonna go ahead and let that go. We could continue, even.
I do want to say like the impact of the questioning. I know like the question was like, oh, well, that's why I asked that question when I first saw you. But I do think it's like there is, I'm sure my soul and Yella has talked about this of like because of their color, because of maybe like colorism, people questioning their blackness or things like that. And that's the sensitivity of I've established, she said, I'm my my descendants are from here. I've heard him talk about his family being from Savannah and all sorts of things like that. So I think that may be the hot button. Like, even though it's, intellectually, I understand why there was a sensitivity there. And I think for future, like he was, even though he was yelling and getting like, okay, but he was communicating a boundary. So I think even sometimes we intellectualize over sometimes people's boundaries. And I think that's where the mistake was. And so as long as we can call that out.
And I can agree because I can agree that, and that's one thing I was going to say though too. Yes, there is a difference between honey in this country everywhere where there's a class system. If you come from a multi-race or lineage background, Your proximity to whiteness or the dominant society is going to determine. I can't relate. I can't speak for a biracial person what it's like to have a white mom or a black parent. I don't know what that's like to have to navigate that space. But at the same time, I don't expect you to navigate what it's like to navigate the space when you have two black parents in the country. There's a different experience. So yes, even though you might be ethnically black, if you're an
Yeah.
anchor like Obama, who was raised an anchor in Hawaii, who, yes, he might have the ethnicity of blackness, but his anchoring, because he's biracial, his family and culture experience isn't just the black experience.
Right. It's a
Biracial
mixed
people,
one. And that's
yes,
what we talked about Obama. I think Rashawn talked
biracial,
about
right.
there's
So,
like
so,
four pillars when we talk about it. It's not just race, it's ethnicity, it's nationality, and I think he said there was one more. And we kind of talked
Yeah.
about it, so I understand. But I
that
think my soul is like, this is being pointed at me now, and I'm like being attacked, and this is a sensitive thing for me, and I've already said. So I think that was triggering for him. But as
and
far
I
as like
wasn't
your
clear.
point,
And
I
I'm gonna shut
understand.
up. And I wasn't clear because when a person says I come from African descent, but again, I'm a person who's in. When you say that, that doesn't tell me,
Right.
okay, Black American slavery, or did they come from African descent versus the
But
South American?
at some point, IG that really can't mean shit. That really can't mean shit. Because if he in particular was born here and he had the black experience here, like we're trying to qualify, then where Africa and what part of the slave trade he came from don't really mean a fuck. Because if it don't matter that Drake wasn't born in Canada, that he didn't have the fucking experience, it don't matter where your lineage come from. The whole idea is we've been trying to qualify this black experience at something. And it's not only the fact that it was said to him once, it was said to him twice. He had already cleared it up. So coming back around into it again is another way to try to disqualify blackness in the sense of, oh well, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't qualify. Let's dig deeper into your lineage. Then at some point, none of us are gonna qualify because none of us experienced what none of them experienced. None of them are like us.
It depends on what you're using to qualify it, though, Yellow. If you are qualifying it
Because we're
just
so far disconnected from that. Our lineage is so far disconnected from the first person that would come over here to represent us that at some point it doesn't fucking matter. Because if that matters, if that's going to disqualify people, then we're all going to start getting disqualified at some point in the lineage.
well, okay, and can I have a conversation? I will disagree. That's not true. Because if you're qualifying that, if there's a difference
I'm
between
talking about for
some,
modern people right now. I'm talking about for people right now.
yeah, for other people
Okay,
right now,
so
that,
I'm just saying, as much as we want to be attached to that, a lot of us more than likely ain't.
yeah,
But
I'm
what
not
IG
trying to
is
be.
saying, hold on, let me 3 generations, it sounds like is what you're saying. Basically, I mean, you're saying a year, but most people don't know what year anybody came over. But basically, is was your great grandma for here? Is it, would that be, let's bring it down, like,
Yeah,
are you saying where your great grandmama from? Is that what you're basically asking? Because the generation is like 20 years. Let's just for a more simplified way, most people would say 3 generations. By
right.
3 generations, the culture is lost. So was your great grandma from here? Is that what you're basically saying? Is that what you're, when you're communicating that? Is that what you're kind of asking? Where was your great grandmama and them from? Upward. If someone said my great grandma was from America, then I feel like that's like 3 generations. I mean, most of us, for us, most of our great, that would have been around the time you're talking about. But like Yella's saying, because if you start going further and further and further, we all came from somewhere else. I mean, that's Yella's point. But I think
Right.
basically what I can hear you say, let's bring it down in layman's terms, because you start talking about years and most people don't know. I think what most people are saying, like foundational, some people say to slavery. I don't even know too far back, but I know my great grandmama where she was from. So I think that's what most people are talking about. And like people will say, are you first generation American? Are you second generation American? Are you third? After third generation, we don't even talk about it because basically your whole family is kind of ingrained in the culture fully at that point. So I think that would be fair to say. Let's take out the rules and let's just be fair to say if your great grandmama's from here, your family is pretty much.
And that makes, and
Yeah.
totally agree, because that makes that will make a difference of what your perspective is and how you are raised and how you are taught to view America. That's going to make a huge difference. So that's important, and especially in, I know we having a conversation with this, but in politics, in government, in so many ways, for us, that has been important. We just now missing it. And oh boy said, like the information that changes. This conversation is being more prevalent because Black Americans aren't just saying, "Hey, hold on," because and that's why I find it interesting. Because everything's cool as long as we embrace everyone. But the same people that we're embracing, we're not being embraced and ingratiated in their culture, in their business in this country. So that's why I think for Adolf and that conversation, that lingual, that's why people are being more nuanced in this conversation. I was always with it in the sense. So I do agree with that. That makes a difference regardless of race. If we go to Italy, it's going to make a difference to a person who has Italian citizenship, not the race of the person. If you're speaking on the culture issue, how many generations? Because no other first world country plays that. You can't go from Italy to Germany
It's not me. Okay, I was like, is it me? I was like,
Look, it ain't me this
That
time.
I said,
boy
okay,
me.
It ain't
right.
me.
I
Not
know
it.
you started what Dury said. I didn't know if you want to
Yeah.
pop it up.
Yeah, let me
But
just speak on that real quick because I'm like that. What Dory is saying, like when earlier when I talked about the what we're gatekeeping is a struggle, like this is what I
mm-hmm.
mean. Like the need to go back 3 to 4 generations is you're saying, okay, you have paid enough dues in the struggle to have a say in what we're talking about. That's the only reason you would establish a backline is to say
Mm-hmm.
that you've paid enough you've invested enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only
Right.
thing that you've experienced enough of the what we're talking about to have a say in it. Like the same way we do with dropping the link. It's like, well, you don't even know what the conversation is about when you just want to hit the link and say, hey, what
Right.
are you guys talking about? And then we've got to catch you up. So that's talking about the struggle of collaborating and sharing an experience that some people have missed.
Right.
So when they start talking from a place of where they're jumping in now, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it the same way you do. But you're also looking at them like, well, you just joined the conversation. You missed it when we talked about this 2 topics ago. And you
Mm-hmm.
missed when we talked about this yesterday. And then
Right.
3 weeks ago, when we did a whole stream on this with a whole
Mm-hmm.
panel. So like, but somebody will jump in. So there's a utility to speaking about there's a utility to speaking about where did you come into the conversation. There's a utility there.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I also want to acknowledge that it's about the struggle and the investment and how much have you heard and seen. So I wanted to ground that idea of struggle and how we apply that daily because it's a practical thing that we're
And,
doing. The second
and
thing I
I'm
wanted to speak to,
oh
if you don't mind, real quick, I want to also for anybody that's listening, as Black people, a lot of times we're having these conversations, we get really uncomfortable and get defeated about how difficult these conversations are, trying to establish clear lines and boundaries of what Blackness is. And I want to like comfort everybody because Black people are not different or deficient in struggling to identify who the us is. Because I want you to look out at the rest of the world and look at how many church denominations have sprung up because they couldn't delineate who was who. And they keep separating further and further down until you've got a first, west, eastern, north, south, central, Baptist, Episcopalian of the greater east side of the upper Michigan Peninsula. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how everybody operates. Look how many languages that we have in the
right.
world. Look how many nations, and in the nations, how many states and countries. All humanity's history is one of dividing while multiplying at the same time. So division is something that humanity does. And Black people, I want us to take comfort in. We are new as a people as far as Black Americans. We're 400 years old, and most of that time we were under surveillance. We were under captivity. A good portion of that time. We've had the right to vote for less than 100 years in this country. So what we're doing is civilization building from the very ground up. So this is going to be uncomfortable because everybody has a head start on us. So the things that we're going to do are going to be done without the oversight of a predecessor civilization that can help us and guide us. So it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be messy. It's going to be emotional, and it's going to be disheartening and discouraging at times. but look at the rest of the people and see how hard they've struggled through humanity to know that we're just walking the path that everybody else has.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna add to that, like you were saying, the utility of when did your ancestors get here, I guess, or how long
Yeah.
have they? It does, like you said, it has some utilities in certain realms. We hear things like that when it comes to like politics, and like when you
Mhm.
start talking about Native American, you have to be like, there's special things, or you have to be 1/8 or something like that to even be considered a part of the culture. So I do think it has some utility as far as it is acknowledged, like that it is said that in 3 generations a culture can be lost, right? So it makes sense that in 3 generations a culture can be fully, integrated into the fabric of who you are. But when you start talking about stuff like this, I just want, like, for me, because I'm not one to say I don't think gatekeeping is possible. Like, people are saying you have to have the struggle to validate your circumstance. For me, I don't think it has to go back that far when we're talking about every adult human making a choice about who they want to be. But I do think that people need to understand that you're going to be missing things. Like, if you like, let's say Drake was like, I want to, it could be as simple as, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt of, like, I'm part black and I have not been in touch with my culture, just like T.I.'s son. We could say Drake was doing the same thing that T.I.'s son is seeking to do, right? Like, his son wasn't raised in the hood, but he wants to tap into that part of himself because that's part of his family's history or legacy, right? Like, it could be as
Yeah.
simple as Drake wanted to do that. Like, Drake might have just been like, I'm half black, I've lived this Jewish, maybe I just want to get in touch with the black side of me. And what is black culture? It's the hood, it's this, is that, so I gotta go get tapped in with that. I mean, it could be that simple. Like, it could just be that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I think that we have to be realistic that if somebody is coming in at that point in their life and trying to tap into that, you have to understand you're gonna have some blind spots, and there's just gonna be aspects of the culture you're not gonna have, or you're not gonna understand, or you're gonna be missing context, or you're gonna make missteps because you just haven't been there. You know what I mean? And he's made some missteps, but also, like, usually you would come in a little bit more like chill about it. Like, okay, I know I may not know what I'm talking about, so let me lay low. Let me be chill. You know, and I think that's also a big problem with it for me. Is there's just like a gall, but I also understand with like rapping that the ego and the being big, that's part of it. That's part of rap culture as well. So it's like
Yeah.
an intersectionality of like life and another culture of rap culture plus this person who is mixed. So I just think that's a nuance too that we miss. That some of this is just rap bravado. So he's not only engaging in black culture, he's, like Yella brought it out, he may be more just engaging in rap culture than black culture, if that even makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
And for
Yeah,
him,
it
that
make a
is
lot of
right.
sense. Yeah, it make a lot of sense, right? Because it's ironically it's not just black culture, but it's highly tied into black culture.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because hip hop originated with a lot of different races. If you look at the like how they document the origin and beginning of hip hop and all that other shit, like if you want to look at it, like if you would assume, because everybody assumes their thing starts where they were at. If you assume that it starts in New York, right? Then
Mhm.
it was a bunch of different races doing hip hop back then. A lot of the, you know what I'm saying? You got motherfuckers like Rick Rubin early in the game. You got a lot of Puerto Ricans who was doing hip hop shit. Hip hop culture kind of originates from that type of time, and it spread out. So, like, you know what I'm saying? If you look how like how most documentaries show, they always go to New York and boom. But you know what I'm saying? I
I,
can't
Most
I
people
can't
gonna
give him
agree
that.
New York was, yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
place.
yeah. So New York was kind of the place. And if you look at New York historically, it's always been a melting pot.
Right.
It's always been a melting pot. That, especially during the hip hop era, because that's what the whole movie was like. Do the Right Thing, I think it was. With
uh
the pizza place. I
I'm
think it
not
was
sure.
Yeah, it was a Spike Lee movie.
I didn't
Judah
pass my
likes
Spike Lee 101 class.
Yeah,
I'm
that
probably
was the
not
whole.
black enough.
Yeah, it was like racial tensions and racial
You're
tensions.
not.
Right. Yep. Go. Yep.
Definitely
Yeah, we
not.
gotta let her go.
I'm
Yep.
not black enough because
You not
I
like
don't know the
us.
Spike
You
Lee
not like us.
films, right?
You not like us.
You know, yeah.
But no, it
But
was like that was so it was that melting pot of people, a bunch of people being around that. If all of it was hip hop culture. You
right.
know what I'm saying? And that kind of spread out and spread around. So, Toronto ain't that far.
I mean, that's what I said. It's black people in Toronto. But once again, when we're speaking about Drake, this is based off what Drake has said himself too. Some of that. So I'm not here to argue if he had it. He said he didn't. But once again, if you look at Drake like T.I.'s son, he might just be doing a little what's it? I don't know which son it was. But
Yeah.
his dad had some hood, his legacy is that, and he's like, I want to go see what it's like. I mean, but that still don't mean the hood gonna accept him though.
Yeah, Hood still got it. I
They're
mean,
not gonna accept him necessarily. They might give
so,
him a little bit of like, okay, you
so
T.I. son, so we ain't gonna fuck you up because your daddy from here. But
man,
like at the same
why
time,
did so okay. So do you think Drake ever got accepted? That was part of my point too. Do you think
did
at
he
one
ever get
time
accepted?
the culture full on accepted Drake?
I will say, like, after having the conversation for a while, I will say I think Kendrick took it as Drake trying to be in with black culture, black American culture. But I think in hindsight, looking at it, Drake is just engaging in hip hop or rap culture. That's what I think Drake was doing. And did rap ever really accept Drake? I'm not really a rap person. I know some rap people like old heads, and some people say they always hated Drake because they feel like he rapped, he put rap into pop. Like he just like, I'm gonna commodify the essence of rap, and like I'm gonna get a pulse on the culture and I'm gonna package it and mainstream it. Like I feel I've listened to a few of them talk about Drake. So if I'm basing it on the people who really engage in hip hop culture and rap culture, I'll say maybe no. I feel like they never accepted him. That's my
Okay.
answer. I'm gonna say
Okay.
no.
So I would say Rashawn,
Yo.
same question.
Repeat the question again.
Do you
Do
feel
I
like
think Drake was ever accepted?
do you think Drake was at one point Drake was ever accepted into the culture?
Now again, are we talking about the rap culture or black culture? Because black culture, no. Absolutely not.
Okay,
In black culture.
let's say rap culture. Let's say rap culture though.
And rap culture is 50-50. Because because we use rap and hip hop synonymously, there is some crossover in relationship. So the people that have a history of who was timed out. I didn't time out anybody.
Yeah, I was trying not to interrupt while you were doing it, but MD seems like they blocked or timed out dope, and I'm trying to figure out why, because we typically don't time out and block people. I want to know what they said because I see their messages were also deleted, and we typically don't do that over here. So like, why was their messages deleted, and why were they timed out?
I don't see anything crazy.
I can only see it on YouTube. That I see there, it was hidden, it was blocked, their messages were deleted. I don't even know if they still here, but I'm like, why did they get timed out and blocked?
Yeah, and it could have been actually. I know I've done that to somebody.
No, it said by MD. It said by MD.
No, I get what you're saying. That somebody
okay.
was timed out. But I'm saying I have accidentally been trying to do something in those menus and accidentally timed somebody out. I've actually had that accident happen before. Where I timed out somebody.
Okay.
But
maybe.
Yeah, I done had.
Well, I mean, but this is also somebody who's never timed out anybody. But it is what it is. I ain't gonna get into that. But
yeah, that's why I asked in the chat.
But the rap culture versus the hip hop culture, like some people have a relationship to hip hop, so they can't accept you into rap culture unless you have the foundation. It's the same conversation, just differently. If you don't have the history, if you don't have okay, so they're together. Okay, cool. Okay. So they playing games. Okay,
okay,
they
cool.
playing games. Okay.
You know, and look, and knowing who it is,
Okay.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. They playing
Okay, that makes
cool.
sense now. Okay,
That makes
just
sense.
making sure everything
Okay.
was copacetic. Okay.
But the same conversation we're having about blackness and how far back you got to go to be accepted is the same thing with the rap versus hip hop. If you don't extend back to hip hop and know who the foundational players are, some people in rap will not accept you. Others don't care. They'll accept you if you come in and you have talent. Except, hey,
Right.
Google, shut up. So like it's
Not
it's
hey
the same
Google, shut up.
conversation just over on music. Like we're just having the exact same conversation in the rap culture lane now. So that's all that is.
Yeah.
Okay. I asked
So
I asked that because that was part of what I was saying. Like the quote unquote gatekeepers of rap culture and hip hop culture now. And I know Snacks was saying he was accepting the R&B culture. At this point, R&B and hip hop and rap culture is just basically all the same thing. There's different subsets, but it's kind of like they all intertwine now. I know it was like at one point where they kind of did stay separated, but like they all intertwine now. The R&B niggas.
I mean, you say that, but I'm sorry, but hip hop, if you don't, if KRS-One and all them, if you're not talking, if the hip hop, if you're not tapped into the OGs, like I can't accept. I'm just rebutting. For me, it's hard for me to accept you talking about rap and hip hop communities are the same.
What you mean
Because there's
tapped in with
there's
like the OGs? Oh,
like
you mean
the
like
hip
okay?
hop
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
with
Like
the
hip-hop
foundational
as-
pillars of
right.
MCing,
Hip-hop.
DJing,
Hip-hop.
breakdancing, graffiti. Like if you don't
I got it.
understand those
I got it.
principles, it's
I
hard
can
for me to
understand.
accept hip hop and rap. That's basically the same thing.
I
So
can
when I hear
understand.
that, yeah,
Let me say modern.
my ears start burning.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the modern. I'm talking about like the modern genre. No, but I 100% agree with him though, because there is like a hip hop standard, and then there's like a rap standard. I'm just talking about like at like this point, they are kind of blended. You know what I'm saying? Which is why the OGs have their beef, rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of at the point to where they don't like any of it though.
Yeah,
you know
the
what
old
I'm
heads
saying?
don't like this beef in general.
Yeah, they don't like any of it. They don't like any of the presentation of hip hop at all.
Yeah, they don't.
So that's a bigger issue. That's a bigger level of gatekeeping. So at this point, they the elders now, because we got to look at hip hop like any other thing. Like the elders got to move up, and we got to look. That's why I'm like, who are the gatekeepers now? You got to look at the best, who claim they the best. So Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole. You got the niggas who jumped in it, Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying?
So
The
you
other
saying
nigga that
that
jumped in it,
Kendrick
Kanye
is
West.
Kendrick is the gatekeeper then?
I mean, if he's making songs like Not Like Us, yeah, hell yeah, he is. that's the gatekeeper anthem. Which, hey, if that's, I'm never gonna essentially say that you shouldn't feel like that. You know, I'm just always a details person, and you know, if I see a thread, I'll pull it. And the unfortunate part is I'm really good at finding that thread that kind of unravels some shit. It ain't gotta unravel everything. It might just
You just
undo the
pulling
ankle.
at the thread too hard. You supposed to,
Yeah.
but you pulling at it wrong. You got to anyway. But
It might just undo the ankle thread. It ain't gotta undo the whole thing.
If you pull it wrong, it will though. But I mean, but at the same time, has Drake been accepted by the people who really have these space? I mean, if I look at culturally, the hip hop head, the old heads, they don't fuck with Drake. It sounds like a lot of the people you just mentioned don't fuck with Drake. So by that metric, he is not like us. They have decided he don't fit. They haven't. No, now hold on. No, wait. We talking about now, because this wasn't really a conversation about let's all talk about Drake. Like me and my friends used to have this thing where somebody would be like doing all this stuff, and then one day we would just walk in and say, like, now everybody turn and look at them. Let's talk about them now. So once the conversation was put out, it sounds like, I mean, I'm talking about not just the rappers who maybe worked with him in the past. I'm talking about people who are deep in the hip hop community as well. I don't feel like they have accepted him. So at what point do you say, if these niggas that saying they don't accept him and they saying they don't accept him and they are the culture, then you can't say he accepted by their culture.
I mean, he's definitely not accepted now. But that was my point. I know. No, you are not.
Yeah, you can be
right
kicked
there.
out though. You can be outcast.
No, I get that. I get that. I get that. Here's where I stand though, right?
Right.
They was making money with him.
That don't mean they accepting him.
Hold
We
on,
make money with a
hold
lot
on,
of people we don't
hold on,
accept.
hold on, hold
Mhm.
on. I'll be trying to tell y'all that's really not how the hip hop like rap that's the one thread that does stick around. That's why I was trying to emphasize y'all. You might think like, yeah, people do a lot of business with people they don't get. That is not how rap go. Like motherfuckers who don't get along are not doing songs together. That's why niggas is killing each other. That's why beefs
Mhm.
exist. Like I want to
Yeah,
stress that. Hold
yeah,
on,
but I
I
think he
really
also
want to
was on
stress
a
that though.
probationary period though. Like it kind of was
Right?
like
Okay.
I look at Drake like that nigga on Dances with Wolves.
So my thing is
Like
this. His but Drake been around for a long ass time, and whatever this is very very recent, very
yeah,
recent.
he did something.
Right within like the last 5 years.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say he ain't do nothing
Outward presentation, nothing's changed.
to us.
Right. Here's the thing: if all you're saying, if your whole argument in this song is that he was never like us, I don't even know who let him in the party. But you did a whole song with the nigga.
I
That's my thing.
mean,
Because the claim is that if he was just like, man, look, that nigga been acting strange in the last 5 years. Like, if he was saying that shit, because with all that wordiness that Kendrick do be doing in his raps, because that nigga be wordy. With all that wordiness he be doing, he said exactly what he meant. Right? So he's saying that Kendrick never qualified. Like
you mean
Muscles
Drake?
McTurtle head. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's saying that Drake never qualified. Like Muscles McTurtle head. You know, bitch, you don't qualify. You ain't never qualified. I
Queen.
don't even know who let you in the party. But when it was time for him to be a part of the culture, you allowed him to partake in the culture for your benefit. That's snacks. Real talk. That's what he's saying.
I do. I'm like, I'm reading the lyrics. I don't feel
That's
like
what
that's
he's
what he's
saying.
saying.
That's his overall presentation. That's his overall argument about the nigga in general. Is that he's not from here.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that his participation in this should not have happened.
You don't
It
even
ain't gotta
go
be like
here.
He
that's
don't
what
even
I'm saying.
go
You don't even go
here.
here. It's not gonna be a lyric where he said it. This is the presentation that he's given to us. We shouldn't like Drake because he didn't experience what we experienced at 5. So that's what he's saying. Y'all knew that this nigga was Canadian then. Y'all knew that this nigga wasn't part of the culture then, but you brought him in and y'all allowed him to be a part of the
Maybe they
culture.
gave him a benefit of the doubt. I think you're overlooking that some of that is part of the culture is
Okay.
like it's almost like a probationary period because like when I look at the song, he's listing all these like grievances. Like okay, like let's just say okay, we let you in. You're black technically, so we're not gonna gatekeep you to the point where you just can't interact with it at all. Okay, but over time, you've been doing weird shit. Like you did this, you did that, you did this, and now you really did something that I see is unforgivable. Like you did something that I see. Like he started talking about Pac, and he started talking about stuff he said more recently. So it's like it could just be a situation where it's like, yeah, we always knew you was weird. We knew you wasn't from here. We knew you wasn't from here.
Where did he disrespect the black culture because he made an off kilter comment about Tupac?
Look, once again, I'm just saying in the
I'm
lyrics he
saying
mentioned it. I'm just saying, like, I'm not in hip hop culture. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the rules of engagement are. I don't know what the sacred cows are. I don't know none of it. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I know what the hip hop head rules are and the sacred cows are. But apparently you did something. Okay. If the people in the culture like fuck him, Kendrick ain't the only one who came out and was dragging that nigga. So it's like I mean, at this point, for me, I'm like, if the niggas in the culture like fuck him, if the people who also engage in it are like fuck him, I'm just gonna go with okay, this nigga got cast out. Play the Lion King 2 music. He ain't one of us. Get this nigga out of here. I don't know what he did. I can't say what he did, but he having his Lion King moment. All the animals lined up. Get this nigga out of here. We was willing to accept you, but you done fucked
not
up,
you the
and we
Lion
can't.
King too, mama.
That hold on, cause that song was lit. Okay, they packed his ass up and sent him out.
They did.
So I can give you the fact that I'm not trying to say Drake was trying to engage in black culture. He did something to them hip hop people. They kicked his ass out. He's outcast. I don't know what he did. I can't say what the sacred cow was. I don't know.
Now ultimately, I will come to it, and I think that's what we ultimately gonna agree, because neither one of us will know what actually happened. But if the consensus accusation is that he's appropriating the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is he appropriating the culture that you let him into?
Okay, well, because we're talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was
gonna say
say
we're talking about two different cultures.
We're talking about two different cultures.
Of course. Sometimes
you don't know till you know.
Let's do this. I think at this point in the conversation, with everything that was said, and I mean everything, that we really not gonna nail down the whole race thing, right? So, no, because this
I know exactly what happened.
Okay, there you go.
I mean,
you want to know what actually happened?
What happened?
Oh God!
Kendrick was hanging out with Drake, and then Drake said this:
"Look at your neighbor and say he's a meat stretcher. He'll stretch your meat." Hallelujah to.
And then after that, it was on site.
I just
after that, it was on site.
I just fucking knew
it. Now hold on. Now, am I saying that might have happened? Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe
after
so.
that, man, Kendrick wasn't on it. Man, Kendrick was like, "Nah, man, nah,
get
bro.
this meat stretcher out of here, huh?"
Yeah. That's why he talking about he a freaky, he a 69 guard. He a freaky, he a 69 guard.
There is some kind of code. I'm sure we were talking about what culture. Let's just say Drake pissed off the hip hop culture, because I don't think it's all together. It's not all mushed together. Rap hip hop culture. That's what I think he ultimately was engaging in.
Fuck with him, though.
I'm not saying everybody, but the consensus, the people who the loudest, the rap people in his industry, is enough of them niggas who saying we don't fuck with Drake. And the hip hop head people, like the people on YouTube who talk about it, a lot of them never really fucked with him. So that's why I'm saying, for me, if the people engaging in the actual culture are like, he's not us, we don't want him, he fucked up, I'm gonna believe him.
All right. So moving forward then, latest development. Canada was like, well, if he ain't like y'all, he like us. And they tried to whoop Rick Ross' ass the other day.
Who, the Canadians tried to beat up Rick Ross?
Yep.
Man, Canadians went in on that nigga.
Yeah.
They supposed to be polite. And that's fine too. Y'all can, but that's Canada has a culture. And the black people in Canada have a culture. We
finally finna start the war that finally kicks off between
this the
Canada.
new North versus South, huh? It's Canada versus America, the United States of America.
That finally kicks it off is Drake versus the USA.
Well, the weekend from Canada, he don't fuck with Drake either, so I'm not sure. He's gonna be on his side.
I mean, to be fair,
and Tory in jail, so
if there's on a scale of weird. The weekend definitely on there. So maybe that's a certain brand of Canadian black. It's fucking weirdo. We don't know. We don't know what Toronto out here looking like. All the niggas I know, weirdos. I fuck with Canadians. Shout out to Derry. I fuck with my Canadians.
Some of the best Canadians, they definitely fucking weirdos. Thank you. That's all I need to know.
Some of the best wrestlers ever have come from Canada.
Oh yeah.
With that being said, they were some fucking weirdos. They were some fucking weirdos too. You know, they don't get
so now we know. But this whole thing of Drake, I'm Drake. Maybe Kendrick was just talking about hip hop. He ain't like us. I don't know. I'm not about to go to bat for Drake. If the council say he out, he out.
Mm-hmm. It's a loose translation. I'm only using what Kendrick say because. I'm using what Kendrick say, but I'm also kind of using the overall kind of treatment of this song. They Not Like Us.
Yeah, people love it. You got to be like, why people love it? And I don't think it's just because it's a diss track against Drake. I think it's a lot of people who have felt the same way about the stuff he's talking about. I think there's a lot of black people, especially now, where people are commodifying talking shit about the black community, and it's a whole bunch of people who not even like us doing most of it. I mean, maybe people just like identify with the song because of many different reasons and not just about the beef. Like people are invested in a song that has a beef that has nothing to do with them. Maybe they could just relate to it in some other way.
Look, bring on that, because we was.
I do be on that
celebrate.
shit. Okay, don't call me a person of fucking color. You know why it pisses me off?
Bring pop.
Let's go.
Because I have a business. I also was about to go to school to get my PhD at one point in time, right? And we know that black people in America have been at a disadvantage. So they will have certain, it's really hard for us to get funding and things like that. So a lot of times the only way we can get any kind of funding is for them to open it up to persons of color. Okay, they will say persons of color. I've applied for business grants. I've applied for all sorts of things, and them person of color grants, it be everybody but fucking us. Who gets it every fucking time? So when I see something that says this is for women of color, I don't invite me to that shit, because it's about all the fucking colors of the rainbow. It just means not white, and you know how many people qualify.
Right. At this point now, that's what I was telling. That's what I was trying to say to IG. Like now in this country, people that don't qualify, people that qualify as not white. Shit.
And also it was frustrating because it's a sensitivity. I'm not gonna say it's right, but it's a sensitivity because when I lived in Seattle, and there's like hardly no black culture hubs in fucking Washington, maybe Tacoma. There's like a lot of regular garden variety black people in Tacoma, but as far as Seattle, it's nothing. And people would say, oh, we have, black, it's black, but they be talking about fucking Africans, and it drives me fucking crazy. I'd be like, and people say, oh, it's another black girl. Oh, okay, let me go see who this other black girl is. She's fucking Nigerian. So, like, yeah, she black. Like, in America, she's considered black, I guess. But, like, you think it's just annoying. I'm like, we're not going to necessarily relate. Like, just because she brown and I'm brown, I'm from fucking East Atlanta, she from fucking Nigeria. Like, and it's also annoying. We not the same. She wouldn't say we the same. I wouldn't say we the same. But to y'all, we the same. So it also just gets muddy. It just triggers me when I hear person of color, because I just be like, ugh, I just think about grants and scholarships. And when they're pushing it, like, and they catch people, oh, we have this for person of color. They push it like, oh, we're doing this for black Americans. And you'll get in there and you'll see all the recipients, and you'll be like, who the fuck is this? Who are these people? And it's rarely like actually descendant of slave black people who get it. So it's just, that's why for me, I'd be like, yeah. I used to, once upon a time, if you say a person of color, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's us. Having lived out some of that, now I'll be like, they still ain't talking about me. They still ain't talking about me. So that's why I don't really care for it. I don't care for that label.
I get it.
Infuriating. Nope, that's it. Yeah, person of color need money. I just feel like person of color is I only see, and it's also one of those things that only has utility in certain realms, right? And typically the realm that I hear it in is like politics or money or scholarships, or politicians like to cater to black votes by saying we're doing these things for people of color, knowing that most black Americans are going to think they're specifically talking about black Americans, descendants of slaves. But they know that that's not what they're talking about. So it's kind of like it's layered language, and it pisses me off. That's basically why it pisses me off. It's annoying.
I got a phone call and Yella start cussing people out.
There you go. Came up here being messy. Got to get those diversity numbers up. Yeah, got to get the diversity numbers up, which I'm cool with. Like, that's cool, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they talking about me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let a politician trick me into thinking they're doing all this stuff for a particular group when they're not talking about that particular group.
I'll get you.
But Tommy B, did you? Not the weekend.
Keyboard civilian.
Oh yeah, many people don't catch that. I'm definitely a keyboard civilian.
I don't even know what that means.
You
Just
know
a
they had
nigga
the
walking
keyboard
across the
gangsters.
internet. Just a nigga across the internet. That's all. Please don't
You
try
know
to fight
the,
me.
they got the niggas
He the
that be like they
keyboard
keyboard
gangster,
gangsters. I'm the keyboard
keyboard
civilian.
warrior.
Oh,
He
he's just a
keyboard
keyboard
civilian.
civilian.
I'm
Yeah.
just here on the internet.
I don't want no trouble.
If you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black.
Oh
Yeah, he
my
said
god,
black then. He
bro.
ain't say person of color then.
Right.
Let's see.
Exactly.
Get
They
out of
know the
here.
difference. They know the fucking
They know
difference.
black when they want to know black.
Yeah, they know what black mean. They know what person of color mean, and
Yeah,
they know they don't mean the same thing.
they do.
Oh yeah. That's how they chop up them rights. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna
Yes,
do
sir.
people of color. They ain't do that shit when them Asians got that bill across. It was Asian
Sure
hate
do.
bill. That
It
shit
was
wasn't people
very
of
It
color hate
specific.
was.
bill.
It
People of
was.
Mongolian descent
You
or
feel me?
people who mix. Now they be real
Super
specific.
duper
Mhm.
specific. They knew
But
Yeah,
that's
exactly
'cause-
what they
that's
wanted
because
to do.
black people don't cut that check like them Asian people and them other people
Yep.
do.
we
Where
don't
the
cut that
power
check, and we be
resides.
letting shit slide. Black people
Yeah,
think
that's
person of
it.
color mean, and they be like, "Oh, we was called colors at one point." They talking about us. No,
That's it.
no, it just means not white across the world. A global. It's a global term.
But ultimately, I think to get back to what I was talking about with you, Yella, I think what motherfuckers is the issue with him is you embrace the culture when it monetarily benefited you. Because from evidence as we've seen before it monetarily benefited you, again, you on a video talking about how even talking to slang is no, it's actually very ignorant.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people kind of looking at it kind of, and then I think the biggest part is you got embraced by the culture, and then your ego let you get to a point to where you doing shit that's not of culture. So you're sending cease and
Mhm.
desist to people to stop them from putting music out. Um, just the way you move it, even you telling your Jewish mom that Rick Ross is being racist, and then posting that on the internet for people to see, which could literally get him in trouble with the whatever that alphabet people for that community, the ones that came after Nick Cannon. They could have easily picked that up and caused a whole nother situation.
Was he
You
though?
get what I'm saying? Huh?
Was he? Was Rick Ross doing what he said he was doing in the video?
What, being racist?
Yeah.
He said he got a nose job.
I mean,
You did.
What happened?
I'm
What
just,
happened? What do we get? What he asked?
I'm just look. It just comes off very
he said he was
Karen-like
being
a little
racist to
bit.
Drake.
Yeah, he told his mom. He said, because he put up a picture of the text, and the text was uh his mom asking him, "Hey, what's going on?" or something like that with the Rick Ross situation, some shit. And he was like, "Oh, mom, don't worry about it. Rick Ross is just being a little racist or something like that." And basically saying if he had really when he got surgery, he would have got a 2-for-1 deal with his mom or some shit like that. Like,
Mhm.
I mean,
So
so
he
he
being
said what he
racist.
said then. So he was calling white boy too.
but see, this is what's
Yeah,
hilarious
white
though.
boy.
Like, and I don't know where this dude is from, but this is why I say history means something. Like, I mean, y'all from the hood. What do we call our white homeboys?
It depends.
Yeah.
I've
But
called
usually, like they
Yeah,
usually
if
call
he got
him
a name,
white
like if he got
something,
a
or
name,
they
like if
call him
he
white
got Mike,
boy, or
like if his name is Mike Q, you call him White Mike or something
why
like
is
that.
there always a
Yeah.
white Mike somewhere?
Hey, I was
We
just
had a
about
white
to.
Mike.
I
Cause it's
was just
always a
about to
white
say
Mike.
that, Bree. We got a white Mike
Oh,
too.
we had a white
Always
Mike
a white
too.
Mike. That's how I use a white Mike, which is why I completely understand what the fuck y'all saying. Okay, I just want
So,
to know. Okay, the fact that we all know that we got a white Mike in our neighborhood,
Why
okay,
his
right?
name always
so,
So
white?
but
I'm
yeah,
with you. Right?
and that's what I mean by culture. That's not you being ghetto. That's not you being a
Yeah, that's not
thug.
ghetto.
That's culture. That's what we do as black people. And this is my problem with somebody like dude in the comments. That's not said in a racist way.
But
My
hold on,
is
hold on.
good.
It doesn't not. It's still not racist. It's still
But it is.
not.
No.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Because we're not going to do the reverse racism thing. Because if we're talking to a white person that's fully white, then it makes sense why you call him White Mike. But if you're
Yeah.
talking to somebody who's not fully white, then calling him White Boy is very intentional. It's meant to put him in a certain place of being inferior. Because you are in turn saying you're not like me.
I wouldn't say
I'm
inferior, but
superior. We're
it's a
superior.
jab. I
You
got
ain't black. You ain't full black. So regardless of how you spin it, it's still racist in a way.
You can say it's a
So
prejudice. It's prejudice.
right, it's a prejudice. It might not be racism, but it's a prejudice.
It's racially insulting. It's a racially offensive
Right.
term. Yeah.
Right. So it's full on meant to be that.
Yeah.
So it can't be, oh, he put that out for him to see. Well, he said it. That's what he said. He was being that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way that everybody feels free to say whatever.
Dude in the comments said it's offensive. So let me ask you this, or dude in the comments, was the movie White Chicks offensive? I'll wait for your lie. I'll wait for your fucking lie. Because I hate when motherfuckers try to bring up that disingenuous ass point of, oh, the Wayans brothers did white girls. We don't have a history or any kind of a record where black people use whiteface to do anything in any way the way that blackface was used. And that fucking means something. So people want to do
I
bullshit.
think what he's saying is it's offensive to a mixed person.
No. Because he did this earlier with the whole, but the Wayans brothers, did the white girls thing. And it's like, that's a completely different thing. Look, don't blame us the reason why white people can't do blackface. Go blame their fucking ancestors who tried to use that shit, as a racist epithet to literally dehumanize black people.
And I think that's why racism wouldn't be the best term for that, because racism has a lot of other underlying things. But you could call it like prejudice. But I still would think that it would be weird to call him that, because he was basically pointing out that Drake hates his black nose. Isn't that what he was saying? Like he got his daddy nose, and that's why he need a nose job or something like that. Drake's calling that.
It's a lot of inference.
Yeah, Drake's calling that. He's calling that racist, saying Rick Ross is making fun of his black nose as racism, not him calling him a white boy. Which is still weird, because if you're black and somebody said you had a black nose, I don't know if that's racist.
What the fuck?
We both black.
Black nose.
But it's all inference. That's what I'm saying. It's all inference.
That's like
we have to make the racism up in our heads.
Yeah, that's like, I know. I mean, because he has a broad nose. Like,
right, and it's
black
funny
person
because
telling you got a black nose and you hate it. That's not racism.
And it's funny because guess who blackness never was called into question, and that nigga had a nose job because he had his daddy nose.
But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the nose job that he was. That's not. It wasn't the nose job.
That blackness ain't never been called into question.
Yella,
I already know.
This is my nose.
Yella, you gotta
seen
stop.
that little nigga when he was.
We literally have two separations of his career: the black Mike and the white Mike. Like, you gotta stop. Yes,
that's the other white Mike. This is the white Mike.
I'm not gonna say it was. I'm not now. It might have been jokes and it wasn't like dead ass, because again, Mike comes from the coach. Like, we know, we seen where Mike came from, but it was definitely. Listen, my parents and them definitely had them jokes on that nigga. Like, look at this.
He was looking crazy.
Mike was this shade when he made "Remember the Time," nigga.
But we know Mike is a black man.
When he made "Butterflies," nigga, Mike was this shade when he still made the black music.
But we know Michael Jackson. But we know Michael Jackson was a black man.
But Yella, we still love the music, but he still got them fucking jokes. He still got them likes. And
because of what he did, and rightfully so. Right, because he ain't mixed.
No.
So that's the biggest part. Yeah.
Right, he ain't mixed. So him getting them jokes don't really
he like
land
us.
the same way.
So then he like us. So he one of us.
He like us.
Okay, then that proved that Drake ain't like us if the joke didn't land, because a black person telling you got a black nose and that's why you want a nose job.
It's because like many other things, black folks think being offensive should be allowed because they're black.
Well, he was trying to be offensive. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, that's my point.
My whole point is, but
that's my point. That's also the point, though. It's like, if the joke don't land, it's a lot of jokes that wouldn't land with black folks. Is it like y'all? It don't count?
Hold on. I'm not arguing. Rick Ross was not making a joke. He was actually making a diss at Drake. And all I'm pointing out is everybody saying he was calling him racist because he called him white. That's not what he said. What he said was Drake hates his nose because he has a black nose like his father. And that's why he wants a nose job. So all I'm pointing out is calling that racist. He's saying that Rick Ross is being racist by saying he has a black nose.
He
And
was
I'm like,
also chanting white boy too.
yeah, he called him a white boy, but I'm just saying, like, we can't conflate the two. I'm just saying
No,
the
like he
nose
was
thing was
chanting that
specific.
shit. No, like he was like white boy,
But yeah,
white
and
boy.
we also have to understand too. This is under the guise of a beef. It's
Right. So he was trying to
that's
be
also.
Right.
offensive, but calling that racist is
And
weird.
Drake is
That's
half
all.
white, so it's like, what is it? What does that mean? Like,
Well, no, okay,
he's
no.
insulting him.
So, hold
All
on.
right.
What does that mean? But then that goes back to again.
The point.
We know your upbringing. We know who you really are. So you can wear them braids because this is what I tell people too. It's not a coincidence this nigga don't have pictures from family reunions with his black family. Like people actually started to lie and try to make up a relationship with his dad that he didn't have. He was
You know,
raised by
most
his
black
mother.
people don't do family reunions no more. Most black people don't even go to their family
Don't do
reunion.
don't do
Hold
that.
on.
Don't do
I'm
that.
not. I'm
Stop.
talking about most because you went and you went as two people out
Hold
of
on.
the.
No, I'm
Hold on.
just saying, but family
Wait,
reunions are still a
hold on.
part of black
Let's
culture,
stop.
though.
Yella. That nigga's 38, which means he's in my range. That nigga's 3 years younger than me or 4 years younger than me. Nigga, we was doing family reunions. This stop doing family reunion shit is new. This is like 2000-ish when that shit stopped. The 90s, we did. Hello, Cut and Pete.
Nigga, that was
Where that
20
was at?
years ago. That's a whole generation. Talking about
What I'm
that
telling
was
you, Yella,
new.
is
Nigga, that was
that's
20 years
when he.
ago.
No, what I'm telling you is that's when he grew up. So what I'm saying is, while he was growing up, when we were attending those type of things, he wasn't because he wasn't locked in with that side of his family like that. That was always my point of he is black. Nobody's taking that away from him. Okay,
That's
this
why
was the
we're
best.
here.
He is racially
This
black.
was the best
No
way
one
I
is
could tell
taking
Gotta
that
take it
away
away
from
from him.
him. He is
Hold on.
racially
This
black.
was the best way I could tell somebody is if you're black and Asian and you were raised by your Asian mom without your black dad and you were raised with Asian traditions around your Asian family, went to Asian schools, then yes, you are still black, but culturally you were raised Asian. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? You're still going to be black, but culturally you were raised Asian. And so essentially, if you look, and again, this is out of Drake's mouth, not mine, not Kendrick's, not Ross. If you can watch his earlier interviews, he essentially tells you that the nigga had a bar mitzvah, and his fucking song for his bar mitzvah was "I Want It That Way" by the Backstreet Boys.
Let's go. A
Look at
man of culture, just not the black one.
I ain't gonna lie, we was just talking about how our boy bands was dope in the '90s, but you feel me?
Same.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So black Jewish people. Oh wait. So are we saying that black Jewish people can't be part
Hold
of the culture?
on. See, you're conflating it. Hold on. Because
I'm trying
racially,
to
he's
figure out. I'm
black.
trying to wait. Hold
No,
on. No, I'm
because
trying to figure
Hello?
out why.
We already
I'm
covered
trying
this
to figure out
ground.
why the bar mitzvah counts as the reason on why he didn't have a black experience.
the bat mitzvah is a Jewish cultural thing. So
And
what that's like what
Yes.
Tommy B was saying. If you had a Blasian and everything in their life, they went to an Asian school, they were raised, their friends were Asian, their other parent was the Asian parent was the one who did most of the rearing. Like they are black, but they culturally would be Asian. They would relate to Asian culture. That's the only thing we're saying. So Drake can
Yo,
be a black Jew, but if he was raised in Jewish culture, he would be Jewish.
so culture is a general term. That means like a preponderance, a healthy number of the people must do it for it to be considered culture.
Yeah,
So there's not a lot of
so
black
it's like,
Jewish people.
well, it's like,
so it just don't count then.
no,
Well,
That can be
listen,
called black culture.
again,
There's a difference between behavior
hold
and
on,
culture.
hold on, maybe let
Go ahead.
Rashawn.
No, I mean because Yella's like, oh, because he had a bar mitzvah, he can't be. That's not. You can't make that determination from that one point of fact. So like a black person jumps off a bridge. So because a black person jumped off a bridge, jumping off a bridge is black culture. No.
No,
So
okay,
you
listen.
can't use that logic. So
No,
if
I
a
was
group
Hold on.
no, hold up, Tommy. if groups of black people across time or in a region are doing something the same or similar, like food, dance, music, speech, that's culture. So you can have black Jews because they're practicing a faith and a culture the same. So they're called a lot of times black Jews, but you don't say black people and mean black Jews. You would use a qualifier because there's a specific subculture that they're participating in. So no, when you say black culture, you can't be talking about black Jews
Jewish.
or black cowboys or black swim teams because that's not normal.
It's my garden variety black.
They have
We
black
don't do Bob
cowboys.
Mitzvah. Well,
Yeah, they do
that's
have black
cool, but
cowboys, but
that's
that's
what
what
he's
but
saying.
that's not black.
Texas, they
When
have
somebody says black
cowboy
culture, nobody's
parade.
thinking about
They
black
have black
cowboys.
cowboy parade out here too.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
that's what he's
absolutely.
saying.
But
Like,
that's not
but you
black
would be
culture.
specific. You would
Why
we
wouldn't that be black culture though?
well, our language gives it away. Hold on, like we have to be real. The language gives it away. Generally, in America, when we say black culture, we're talking about generally certain things. So when you start having different subsets or subcultures within black
Right.
cultures, you would be specific.
Let me
Like you
give y'all
would
an
say,
example.
hold on, but you would say like black cowboys and like how I say like blurs, like black nerd, like black anime culture.
Black
So
church
it's
culture.
not that it's not in black culture, it is black culture, but it's a subculture, and typically our language, we would be specific when
It
we're talking
transfers
about
over.
that. Yeah, we would
Yeah.
be specific when we're talking about black
So,
cowboys because most black Americans are not black cowboys.
have you guys paid attention to the new country music wave?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay, the young black kids going into the country music, right?
Right.
Right.
What do they still hold, even though they're singing country music?
I don't know. I'm be fucking with country music like
Black
that.
culture. They literally remixed "Everybody in the Club Get Tipsy" as a country song. That's what I mean. It's still
Yeah,
doing something that's quote unquote out of culture, which technically is
it's a
not, because
subculture.
our
It's a
country
subculture.
was
Yeah.
ours anyway. They took it, but
Yeah,
anyways, it's technically out of culture. But even with them coming into that culture, they're bringing our culture into it.
yeah, they're still black,
Right.
So
but I mean, that's why I think it's a subculture. It's a
Yeah.
subculture of black culture. It's
so
not the main one.
when I brought up the bar mitzvah, it wasn't to say, oh, just because he had a bar mitzvah. It was to show these are the things that he was participating in, that was part of the culture that he was raised in, which was a Jewish culture, not a black Jewish culture. He was raised with his white Jewish mom, and they were in a white Jewish neighborhood. Again, out of his mouth, not mine. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
that whether that's right, wrong, or different. It's what happened. So somebody in chat said, if the parents' races were reversed, would it still be the same conversation? Absolutely. If you were raised in that culture, that's what you were raised in culturally. That's why you can find a video of him talking about speaking slang is ignorant. If you were raised in black culture, nobody in black culture looks at it as ignorant, because we understand it's just culturally what we do. If you want to keep it solid, that was stupid to say anyway, because American English is slang as fuck. If you go over the UK where I've been, our English ain't exactly translating over to what theirs is, and theirs is the natural English. So you can make a case that all the shit we speak over here is quote unquote ignorant, if you want to make that case.
Oh yeah. I don't. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't think it's up for debate if Drake was raised in black culture. Like he was not. He was not.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm like. That shouldn't be up for
So
debate. Like that's factually, he was not raised in black culture. Like
okay, so now that I think we've gotten that right. So where the problem comes in at is, hold on, Leah, watch out. Where the problem comes in is when you're that person and you're coming into quote unquote black culture. Again, if and this is where I disagree with Yella, where you say you haven't seen a change. There's definitely been a huge change with Drake from the beginning of his career to now, as
oh
far
yeah.
as the arrogance, the like, and that type of stuff. And that's where you run into trouble, is because you have to remember, whether you like it or not, you're still a guest of this culture. This isn't where you. So that's
Okay.
why he ran into the problem with a Kendrick, because this, this is what he's lived, read. This is where he comes from. So then, when you try to challenge Kendrick culturally, you lose, because you can't even match up that way, because You feel me? You came in and you were welcome. So it's not like, oh, you came in.
So
No,
He
you were
was welcome
welcome.
so you can use him to benefit the culture, but when he starts to embrace the culture, now he should remember he's a guest, right? So the whole idea behind Drake is that he commodified the culture and made money off the culture. But the thing that he was supposed to do was sit back and let the culture make money off of him. While he just hold on. While he just be a good mix nigga. He just be a good mix nigga. You be subservient to us and respect our motherfucking culture and don't do the thing that we do because all he did was just embrace the culture that embraced him. So you bring him to the party and you have him come do shit and you have him be at the motherfucking songs and you have him be at the motherfucking award shows and you do all this other shit and you introduce the nigga to it and then guess what? He starts to do it himself and you get mad.
He slapped the DJ.
So
That's
so
what happened. He
put it
basically
like
slapped
this.
the
Hey,
DJ.
Yella, say you got a room for rent. I come in there. I'm paying you the rent that you said you need. I'm paying you the rent I said you need. Do I get to start putting my feet on your couch?
No,
Do I
nigga, that's
start?
not
Do
even
I,
as no, that's not even the same example. No. The better example would be this. I let you come stay with me, right? I give you a room to come stay with me, right? And then I bring bitches in your room and drugs and hey, look, you gonna do this song, we gonna get on, we gonna get all this money, we gonna do all this other shit. And as long as you doing it with me, it's fine. And then as soon as you start doing it yourself, now I got a problem with it. That's
No,
the example.
I think, but that's why I'm saying, like, I think you're because that the issue was not him becoming big or making money. Like, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like he disrespected the culture by saying certain things, and I don't know what happened with Pac. I don't know what he said or did. I don't know, but it sounds like he made some egregious, like how Rashawn always said, there's some sacred cows here, and he basically fucked with a sacred cow. I don't think the issue was him making money because they were willing to let him make it. We can make money. We can jump on features together. We can do this.
Yeah.
But he touched a sacred cow. That's what I'm saying. I can't say exactly what it is because I'm not in hip hop or rap culture enough. But that's what it seems to me to be. I don't think the issue is him making the money because he been making money. He been making pop rap, like, and he ain't had all these industry dudes just turning on him. So I feel like it's definitely like something beyond that. Like he did something.
so
Yeah.
I'll give you the perfect answer with the Kendrick thing. How did the Kendrick thing start? Kendrick did the control verse. Nothing about the control verse was beef. It literally was competition, which is what culturally what they do in hip hop. It's
Right.
competition. It's if I get on a beat with you, I want to have the best verse. He's the only one, and I literally can show you multiple interviews, up to probably 4, 5 of them. He's the only one that was named on that verse that took it personally, as if it was beef. He even came out and said, "I seen Kendrick, and he didn't have that same energy. Like everything was cool, yada yada yada." He's literally the only, and so these are the little things that I'm talking about when I say you can see that culturally he don't seem to understand this culture a lot of times. Like nothing, nobody took that verse as he was disrespecting anybody, he was dissing anybody. It's literally only one person that took that verse that way, and it was him.
I mean, let's not forget, just because the nigga apologized and bowed out, J. Cole took it some type of way too.
Okay, you missing Yella. That's a different
Oh,
situation.
hold on. You said that. You said, hold on, because the response was to the big three shit. Is that the control verse we talking
No,
about?
no, that's what I'm telling you. This goes back to
Then what are we talking
2010. Big Sean had a song called Control. Kendrick did his verse on there, and he named multiple rappers on there, and he basically said, "When I get on the song with you, I'm trying to kill you." Competition. Hold on. So
Little kid.
yeah, he over here doing goofy shit. But so again, everybody that was named on that song, including Jermaine, J. Cole, all took it as friendly competition. What happened
Jermaine.
was he started doing these interviews and he basically was taking it as if, like Kendrick said, nigga, fuck you. I literally can roll out the interviews. He went on Big Boy, he did Angie Martinez, etc., etc. They asked him, would you ever work with him again? Nah, yada, yada, yada. So after that, he goes, that's when he went to BET, he did the Cypher, and that's when he said, and tucked the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes. Why? Because you took something that was competition and you acted sensitive as fuck about it. And he has a track record of that. Let's even go to the beef. you have a beef with Pusha T. You speak on his wife. Pusha T say, fuck you. You said my wife's name, all the gloves are off. He does what he does. You then go to the LeBron James podcast and you talk about how um you didn't want to do the beef anymore because it got too personal, yada yada yada. When you're the one that started with the wife. Cool. What's the first fucking thing you do in this beef with Kendrick? You speak on this nigga wife. When Kendrick asks, what are you doing the last song of this beef? You cry about how it got personal and how da da da. It like he literally gives so many Karen vibes. Like it's and I
Oh,
think that's the part that's pushing everybody. It's like you can't throw a rock and hide your hand. And he seems to start having a track record of doing that.
and then also I was gonna say with the Pac thing, I had went to look because I was like, I don't know what he did. He did an AI. He used Tupac's AI voice and like Snoop,
Oh
I
yeah,
think, to like diss
I
Kendrick
heard that shit.
and like goad him on, like, oh, you didn't respond to this, you never said this, and he used a debt, and Tupac's estate threatened to sue him because like, why are you doing this?
He
So I feel
trolling the
like,
fuck
and
out of
then
him.
that's when Kendrick was like, okay, I'm about to respond. So I mean, that feels like a sacred cow once
But
again, like
again,
you
culturally
using
clueless.
what, right? You using Tupac, which you know, like, and he's like, come on, like.
See, I would almost say that he not clueless because he understood the fucking you don't think he
I
understood what he did?
mean, but
He's
you
not
also
clueless because again,
It ain't.
that's the
right. He not
adjacency.
clueless.
Like he's not
Right.
clueless. He's just not tapped in.
He not
He's
tapped
also
in.
in the
That's
middle
all.
of a
That's
rap
all.
beef. He's
Arshawn,
No,
also
he
in the
wasn't.
middle
Hold on,
of
what's
hold
the
a
on.
rap
definition
beef.
of being
No, he
clueless?
wasn't in the middle of the beef at this point,
Yes,
Yella.
it
This was
was. This
before.
came
No, this
out
was
during the
before you.
beef. This
This was
came out
before
during the
Euphoria.
beef.
This
No,
was
no,
before
but
Euphoria.
but that was still the beef, Bree. It was still the beef.
That was during the beef.
Okay,
That
That's
but
was
what
the
I'm
second.
saying.
That
but
was the
once again,
second diss track.
okay, but once again, like Rashawn is saying, you're adjacent to the culture. You knew that would piss him off. But that's also a sacred cow beyond Kendrick. It's not like Tupac is like Kendrick put Tupac on as a sacred cow of the hip hop community. So why would you
So
do that
I'll
just to
tell
piss
y'all
him off?
as far as how we look at it out here, right? Um, he's not somebody to be played with at all. And so
Kendrick or Tupac?
no Tupac.
Okay,
And
that's what I was
so
saying.
for you to play with that voice like that, that hits people different. Number one, he still got relatives out here. You get what I'm saying? So imagine your relative is Tupac. He's gone, passed away, and a nigga is playing with his voice for fucking hip hop. Like it's super disrespectful.
Man, that's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Number two, I don't know if y'all remember when Funkmaster Flex went on his little rant about Tupac years ago. The reason why he ain't spoke on
No,
Pac is because people came and paid him a visit. Like people do not play about that man.
that's what I
The
was
man
just
been dead for
guess.
what 30 years. People still do not play about that man. And so again, it's you being culturally clueless and not understanding how bad of an idea that is to
Right.
even do that and how much trouble that can get you in outside of Kendrick.
Beyond Kendrick. That's what I'm like.
But
That's
hold
so
on.
goofy.
But think about it like this, Tommy. But think about it like this. And I'm gonna be as fair as possible. The only people that really truly feel that way are people in California. Niggas in Chicago don't feel like that way about Pac. Niggas in
True.
Texas don't feel that way about Pac. It's a lot of niggas, a lot of places don't feel that way about Pac. This nigga beefing with Compton in all of California right now. Of course, he gonna say some shit that y'all don't like, that y'all gonna take offensive.
Yella.
But hold on, wait, hold on. But making it seem like, oh, he said that, so he don't understand the importance of Tupac. Yes, he does, because that's why he said it specifically to a nigga from California. That's why he used two niggas from California. He could have used any dead rapper voice that be held in some type of fucking reference. But he used them two niggas specifically, possibly because he's beefing with niggas from where they from.
But
You
that's
think he
also like,
cares? Like he understands that, like any of this, everybody. Okay.
but culturally, that's
Tommy,
like
hold on, Tommy. To
disrespect.
be fair, you're like he don't understand what him saying this could do to him outside of Kendrick, right? But then you also told me that it would be outside of the realms of 500 women to call a motherfucker job and get him fired. So I understand the nature of people, but at the same time, this is the fucking condition that he choosing. He in a rap beef. We ain't sitting up not knowing that historically in rap beefs niggas end up hurt, because that's what you say. Now if
That's not
y'all
what this is, though, Yella.
hood
But nobody
code, black
looked at this beef
culture.
and said
That's
somebody might
Right,
help this
he
guy.
just doing what he was taught to do. Rap beef's disrespectful as fuck. We
No,
mad
but
because he
hold on.
actually doing it.
No, Yella. I think this point that you mentioned, rap beef is disrespectful to the opponent. He's not going against all of Cali. He's going
All of
against
Cali going
individuals.
against him. All of Cali was going
because
against
of
him
what he
Bruh.
did with Tupac and Snoop
No,
because
no,
he's
no.
Boy.
going against
Hold on,
Kendrick.
it's not. No. Okay, all of
He's
Cali
going
is not
against Kendrick.
all of Cali is not going against Drake. It's not that. Like it, and you talking to somebody who lived through the West Coast, East Coast shit. It's nowhere near that fucking energy at all. Nobody
Right.
looked at it that way. What I'm explaining to you is you put yourself in a situation to where it can even tote that line when you're playing with, because it was more disrespect to Tupac than disrespect to Kendrick. He definitely used the voice absolutely for a
To
reason, because he
to
knows
trigger
the
him.
reverence. Yeah, he
Right.
know the reverence that Kendrick holds Tupac in. So 100%. But what I'm telling you is everybody doesn't understand the behind the scenes factors that come with Pac. Like there's people out there, I'm telling you, that don't like. If you ever heard the behind the scenes what happened to Funk Method Flex after his little rant on Tupac, you would understand what I'm talking about. Like people do not play with Tupac, whether people want to like it or not, whether people want to believe it or not.
I can
They
believe
do
it.
not play with that man's name. And so, and clearly the family felt the way because they turned around and sued. And that's what I'm telling you is
Yeah, they
when this
should have. Yeah.
man has family out there and you're playing with Tupac isn't in the beef, and you're playing with this dead man's voice for fucking rap beef, and he has family out here that's listening to this, is hella disrespectful. He got
You know, like
homeboys
it's
out here that's lit. Like there's still people in Oakland that chilled with Tupac, like my OGs that hung with Pac, that got personal relationship. I got a nigga out here that got $100,000 Harley that's all dedicated to Pac.
right. He violated a code. I mean, that's basically at the end of the day. I'm not from West. I mean, clearly he violated a code. Like once again, you don't. Everything doesn't. I feel like have to be argued. Like Kendrick said,
Y'all know how many
yeah.
rap
Hold
beefs
on.
with niggas that brought up the dead homies? Now, since the nigga brought up the dead homies in the beef, now it's an abomination
It's
to him
not
to
a
be a
Yeah,
dead
part of the black culture.
homie. It's not
yeah,
like,
Pac
oh,
is
he's
Oh
not a
my
my
dead
best
God.
homie.
friend. I'm
He's
like,
watering it
you,
down.
It
you acting like
essentially
Pac was
is because
just
we
his
talk about
homeboy.
everybody
You
else. We
acting
talking about a
like
nigga
you acting
around the
like
block that got a
Tupac
motorcycle
Shakur.
dedicated to him. We talking about
You acting
all the
like
people that feel a certain
Yella.
type of way. Like
You acting
real
like
talk.
Tupac Shakur was Kendrick's personal hype man who came up with him. Like that's kind of like, once again, I'm not a hip hop head. I'm not in hip hop culture. So yes, maybe Tupac isn't a sacred cow for me. But even I can understand that in hip hop, in rap, like he would be considered a sacred cow to some degree. I mean, it's not a culture I engage in, but I just feel like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like I don't have to agree with it, but yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, are you like, we know who Tupac was? Like it's I don't know. It's just weird for me to hear you try to deny the impact of Tupac specifically for hip hop culture and
When
rap
did I
culture.
do that? When did I do
By
that?
you being like it's
You
the homie.
dimension him to just a dead homie. Like
Yeah,
When
it's
did
it's
I
like
do
it's
that?
it's
not
bigger than
homie.
that, dog.
You
When
just
did I do
said
30
that?
seconds ago.
that 30
Like
seconds
No,
30
ago.
seconds
no,
ago.
no. Tupac Shakur is an integral part of hip hop culture. But the only reason that everybody in California mad about it and not the motherfuckers anywhere else is because that's how he's revered there. That's my point. If you was to speak on, a rapper that was revered in Florida, you would get the same response. He don't have to be as essential to the hip hop game as Tupac was, but that's not me diminishing his impact on hip hop. I'm saying that the equivalent is y'all looking at a hip hop beef and mad because motherfucker mentioned the dead homie.
Well, I was just saying in hip hop culture, not even just now. He said in Cali he's revered. I think it will be higher, but I think anybody who is a partaker and really serious about hip hop culture holds Tupac in a high regard. I don't think it's just West Coast. Like
But
I'm
that's
not
my
from the
point.
I'm not from the West Coast, and I still was like, oh, that's nasty work to
If
use Tupac voice and AI just for his beef with
And that's
it
what I'm
Kendrick. Like,
saying.
was,
It's not
it
just California.
was. It
It
was,
was.
but if he's beefing with this person who
that don't make
holds that person in high regards, then guess what?
That's a
That's the
cold violation.
same. It's the same idea, regardless of how you feel about it. Now, what I'm not saying is that Tupac wasn't important to hip hop. Don't put words in my mouth.
No, I didn't say that. I was just saying it was diminished because it was almost
It
like the
wasn't
homie. But once
diminishing. No, it
again,
wasn't.
well, that's
Because
just
that's the equivalent to a rap beef.
well, it's
It's
once
not
again,
though,
I think
because
it's,
hold
but
on.
hold on, I think it's like a more, to me, you start to go into the road to the realm of like a code violation for me. Just like when we start talking about black culturally, I just, that feels like a code violation to me. Like it was kind of like when we were having that conversation about the brick lady, and everybody was like, this nigga walked up to her and hit her with a brick, and I stood 10 toes down. I was like, that don't sound like black niggas from America to me. Like
No.
that. Like, I'm not saying niggas don't put their hands on women or whatever, but a nigga hitting a woman with a brick in front of other dudes and nobody, like that just felt like, even for the culture I saw, that yes, there was violence. That's not something I ever saw. So if I saw a dude come and hit a woman in the face with a brick, I'd be like, where is he from? Because that's not what we do here, period. So like it just almost feels that way. Like it feels like a code violation across the board, even within a beef. Like it just felt like a code violation. Wow. That's what
Well,
it felt like to
and
me.
so again, he didn't just mention them again, like, and that's why we say you watering it down. He didn't just say Tupac. Like he superimposed his voice on a track again, like, and again, it's not just Cali. Like Tupac got a lot of love in New York, whether people know it or not, and just internationally, not even just in America. Like this nigga got murals across the world, but um again, it so the reason why fuck your dead homies, everybody's like no, is because fuck your dead homies is usually, and that's become what's happened in this generation. And what is it? It's usually because your homie was in that gang and I'm going against that gang. That's not what uh that's not what this situation was. You get what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, Tupac's in your camp. No, like fuck your dead homie is usually like when you talk about like the Fulio and the Young and A situation. They were
No, that
talking
nigga
about people who
wild.
were disrespecting their hoods and stuff like that. So that's where the yo homies and shit like that come in, because their homies was part of the beef as well. Tupac is dead and minding his business. There's no reason, like, and again, I'm not gonna act like I get why he used it, and I'm even on record saying I think it would have been better if he would have just spoke as if he was Pac, not used his voice. You get what I'm saying? Like drop the verse as if he was speaking uh, from Pac, and it still probably would rub people the wrong way, but it would have been a lot different than like. Here's another part.
Yeah. Invoking the name, I
Yella
don't
is the
disagree.
only
Invoking
thing
the
that,
nigga name is gonna get a negative response. If in anyway,
but
yeah,
not
put
even
his
that
name
though.
in the kid.
The only thing that the AI did was sounded like he didn't catch Pac's flow. Like the flow was that's not how Pac rap.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
terrible.
So it's like it was
Like, it
multiple
wasn't even a good replica.
that Tupac himself was disrespecting. You get what, like you didn't even do a good impersonation of him. It literally was just you rap
Yeah,
and
that
then
shit
made
was
the AI
bad.
sound like the voice was him. You get what I'm saying? Like you didn't even catch the pocket or none of that. You get what I'm saying? So um um so
He
yeah,
tried.
it's hold on. First of all, nigga, I'm 41. So I was outside when Pac died. So you can move around with that. But anyways, so that's what that part of it is. And what I'm saying is if you would tap into to the culture like that, then I think you understand not to play with something like that. And so that's why I said it was multiple mistakes that he made. Even like him, like I said, I go back to the him you rapping like you freeing the slaves. Like just strategically, you literally threw Kendrick out. It was so easy
Oh, it's
line
cutting
back
up.
on
It's
you,
breaking up. Okay, you back.
literally
Go
based
ahead.
off the angle that Kendrick was using towards you. You know, so it was like it was just a lot of what he was talking about. It was a lot of what he was talking about that, like it just culturally, like it just you could kind of see the cultural missteps he was making.
It was missteps. what you would expect if somebody didn't come up in the actual culture. And they gonna make some missteps, but then you can't you got too big for your britches. But
I,
welcome back.
I'm sorry. I remember when Selena the movie came out, right? And a lot of people didn't understand why the Mexican American community was mad at Jennifer Lopez,
They was tight.
who's a Puerto Rican, who played her. And it's kind of, that's why when we have this conversation, not here, I just find it fascinating that everyone else in this country can see the nuance of everybody, of people's of colors, distinguishments, because it's interesting. Even in the '90s, before anyone was talking about ADOS and all that, the Mexican American knew that this is offensive. It doesn't matter that you speak Spanish. It doesn't matter that you have the same conquistador. It doesn't matter that you have the same colonization as us. You are not us. And I think it's a thing that most people get alarmed when Black Americans do it, or ADOS, because our culture is the best shit. You'll never see Black Americans appropriating Tejano. It's a thing when Black Americans do country. It's a thing when they see a Black American sing opera, because it's a thing that, based off of socialism, not that we don't have interests, but we're just not promoted. We're not elevated. We're not targeted in those type of things. So I'm not surprised by any missteps that Drake would make in that sense. I'm not surprised. It's like when I see Drake, I see the Obama effect. So I mean, it's just I think it's just real interesting that we only do this with us. It's just, oh my God. Once Black people from America start saying something very specific, it's like we're divisive. But no, it's not divisive when you do it. When you know what I'm saying? We have the Caribbean Fest, Labor Day in New York. Shit, when I first heard that, I thought they was talking about Labor Day here. Just to see how I'm not in the loop of what happens with Caribbean Americans in NYC. I'm thinking you talk about Labor Day here in September. I would make a misstep if I would go out and try to speak or say anything to the effects, but I wouldn't do that because Black Americans, we show more respect to other people's culture. We appreciate it, but we don't go become the representatives. With us, it's a revolving door, and I think I'm glad that we have these type of conversation. I was talking to Retro that we do need to police and gatekeep more because everybody else is policing gatekeeping their shit, and we are not invited to their cookouts or whatever the fuck they may have. I'm gonna put that over there.
It's just like when we had a
Everybody at
conversation
our
about the N
cookout.
word. When we had a conversation about the N
Any
word,
word
everybody's like,
calling.
"Why are Black people so sensitive? We're the only race that does this." And it's like, I know Mexicans that say shit to Mexicans that I can't say. I know Italians that call each other names that I can't say. I know gay people that
Right.
call each other names I can't say. We're the only people that
Right.
go, well, why can't we use that word? Because we said so. The same way the Italians told me I can't say so. The same way the Mexicans told me I can't say. But we're the only ones who
Right.
are just, oh, I don't get why we can't say it. The fuck?
The fuck? Precisely.
Say it then, bitch. Get your ass beat. That's all you
Oh
gotta say.
shit. Brought the
That's
hood
all.
out of breeze.
But I mean, seriously, like I don't know, and I think it's very interesting. We've been having more of these conversations, but it's like we know culturally how we move in real life. I know sometimes when we try to articulate things, you can't always articulate culture because it's a feel. It has a je ne sais quoi to it. Like it's just some of it you just can't articulate it, and but it's just always interesting when we try to articulate it. It's like so much gets brushed off of like what is actually the culture and what isn't. Like I mean, it has positive and negative aspects, you know. So it's just it's interesting to me. Once again, I know Dances with Wolves is an old movie. Maybe some people ain't seen it, but that's how I see Drake. Like he just said how that white dude was with them Native Americans, and they was like, okay, you can come stay with us. We give you a little TP and shit, and you can't fuck none of the women though. And then like once he was there for a long ass time. I think it was over a span of like I don't even know how long the movie spanned, but basically, like, he was hanging out with them. He was like, okay, I'm becoming like y'all. He couldn't touch the women. Then when they really accepted him, I was like, okay, you can fuck one of the women now, because they ain't want them procreated. Like, we don't want you bringing in your colonizing energy, so you can't procreate with the women until we accept you. So once you fully accepted, now you can start doing stuff. But I guarantee you, if he would have fucked up, they would have fucked it. They would have kicked him out.
Right, like you know that show Insecure. You know, I watch
Oh,
obviously.
that's my show, yeah.
I watch a lot of Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore. Shout out to AF. It's kind of like, you know, she brought up a good point about Issa Rae. You know, she's a Sinhalese woman, and you know, there's this thing with her doing the Crip Walk. But what's fascinating about her doing the Crip Walk, people during the times when the riots and the real gangster shit was going on there, she
Mm-hmm.
was nowhere to be found to do the Crip Walk. And to say Sinhalese is probably maybe 20,000 of them here in the country. She writes Black American stories, true enough.
Yeah.
But her own ex-marriage, she managed to still get her a Sinhalese man. So to your
Mm-hmm.
point, Bree, yes, people will ingratiate and enjoy your culture,
Mm-hmm.
but they have a standard to say, well, the buck stops here. I might observe Black American Adolf's life from an outliner, but I'm not going to live it. I'm not going to marry it. I'm not going to. So, and that's okay. That's why I think for certain people, though, we should not saying with who you date and you marry for that reason, but I'm just saying it goes to say, baby, there's millions of Black American men in here, but you make sure you only got one of them 20,000 Sinhalese in this country.
Right.
So it's like, yes, it's a that's why I want to join the conversation, just to bring up, it's a thing to where I think what it is what's happening to people are not used to us
Yeah.
gatekeeping our shit. Everybody else does, and they use language like this, divisive or insecure and stuff like that. That's a weapon, because, well, no, you gatekeep your shit, partner.
Or you can go back over to where your nationality. So you like to go visit your grandmama them over there somewhere else, and you can run to that culture if the shit hit the fan. I ain't got nowhere else to go, bitch.
Exactly, your lineage makes a difference. It's like I said, it's a thing, and I'm not xenophobic at all, baby. The reason why I'm so, like I said, I know what I know, is because when you grow up in New Orleans,
Mm.
they gonna let you know, bitch. Hold on, bitch. I'm not Chinese. I am Korean, because there's
Oh
such a
yeah, that's disrespectful to them. Yeah.
yeah. That no, bitch. I'm not Mexican. I'm Venezuela. No, I'm not Caribbean. I'm from South America. They're gonna
Yeah.
do that. Even the Black immigrants. Mm-mm, I'm not Jamaican. No, babe. I'm not Nigerian. I'm Haitian. I'm from St. Croix. I'm not, because people have to do that. Yes, they know that we here in America, bitch. I'm here to be American. But my lineage and my identity, my ethnicity, that matters to me. I need you to know who the fuck I am, not who you think I am through proximity. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can still be American. That's the one thing I love about being American, is you could do shit like that. So when it comes to us, if we shouldn't do this thing where we let people play, oh yeah, Black Americans, you don't have no culture because you don't have no language. First of all, anybody
We
who's of
do.
Hispanic culture, you should be quiet, because your language comes from a conquistador and the Spaniard who imposed that language, and you speak a bastardized version, just like we speak a bastardized version of the King's English. These white country folks that came from the Homestead X, and these immigrants, these pilgrim immigrants that came over here, the reason why they talk about us talking funny, no, baby, the original broken English was the white people who came here during the 1860 Homestead Acts.
And hold on, we got a culture. We have AAVE,
Oh,
which people think is,
but you
and
get
which
what
people
I'm saying.
think is
Other
Gen Z
people do
lingo.
shit, right? But you get what I'm saying. People try to make it seem like,
Yeah.
because we don't speak another European colonized language, like, but we do speak a European colonized language, right? It's just the broken form of English. It's like, stop letting
Yeah.
people.
We have a culture.
Yeah,
Black Americans have a culture.
we have a culture. We have one of the greatest cultures. We did one of the most. We went through things in government to make it more palatable. So yes, I have the vitriol in my throat because I believe in reciprocity. No, nigga, you don't have it. I love my Nigerian and Caribbean brothers, but we vacation to your country. We do not move there in mass numbers like you do. We visit the Hispanic countries. We do not want to. We do not want to live there. You see, there's a
Right.
difference because the way that we did things here, not people of color, not the people who just got here after 1965. No, you weren't here.
I was just laughing because I was thinking about how me and Yella always are ignorant when people be like, y'all should go back to Africa. Yella, what you always Yella, you don't want to go back to Africa?
Hell the fuck no. Fuck, I'm going
Like,
back
bitch, I'm
there to
not going
cook.
back to Africa.
Well,
I ain't
that's
trying
the
to go
dumb
back
part
to
about
Africa.
it
I'm
is,
from fucking
Actually,
here.
this
well, most of the
Mr.
people,
America's
well,
my
most of
mama.
the
What
people
you
that say
talking
that
about?
don't even
America's my
understand that most of us came from here. Most of us already here.
Right. Exactly.
Logistically, it would be dumb for you to dominate the people here and go, okay, let me go cross this big old sea, get these people, and then literally have almost all of them die on the way here to get slaves when I can literally just take prisoner of war that I got here and dominate. So even that's a fallacy of people
And I
thinking that
don't,
all of us came from Africa. We
or that
did.
we even
from a
have some
regular
connect,
continent.
or even we have some connection to Africa at this point, this many generations being over here. I'm like, I don't have no, I'm good. Like, if I'm good. If I want to see my ancestors, I can go like, 30 minutes south of here.
Right. And I hate to tell and I'm gonna say this too though, and it's kind of tough, but you can't be my mom. You can't be mama to me after you sold me.
I said, somebody's like, you don't want to go to Ghana? No, fuck
Can't be
Ghana.
mama Africa. My mama wouldn't have sold me.
Ooh, yeah, I
You
ain't
can't
trying to go.
you can't expect me to call you mama Africa. No, no, no. My mama wouldn't have sold me. And think about how much of a sting that has to be though, too. Just going here, I'm on a little rip and I'm gonna be quiet. How stupid does that look? The same people that you went and sold into slavery now has a more stabilized, more richer country than you. So the people that you betrayed, your own people that you betrayed, that probably could have been in your country and your tribe to build the land up, right?
No, they
Now,
did this shit
how
on
that
purpose.
has to be a read. That has to be a sting. Damn, the niggas that we went and sold helped and built and made it more palatable for people who want to come to one of the greatest countries in the world. That's gotta sting. That's a motherfucking pride in that. You motherfucking right, I take pride in that. You motherfucking right, I take pride. Yes, I'm not a super military, but yeah, my folks was drafted. My folks was drafted and called a nigga and everything in this country. Baby, it don't get no more motherfucking patriarchy than that.
I agree. I'm not one of those back to Africa people. I'm sorry. No,
I'm not.
thank you. We
Yeah.
saw what happened in Liberia. They not like us. We not
See,
like them,
no,
and we know it. And I don't know why people keep on trying to act like it. I'm not putting on no green, black, and red flags. I'm sorry. That's just
my
me.
red, white, and blue.
That's just me. Okay. I don't feel connected to that. So, when I go, I'm from Georgia. I still live in Georgia. I've lived in other places, but I feel like that's me. When I be in Georgia, I be like, see, that's me. And to go back to, like, I hate when people say black culture is just so negative. And like when I hear people say that, I think it's people who maybe not like us for real. If you did some digging, you'd be like, maybe they probably not like us, because I just don't feel that way about my culture. Like, we got some ignorant shit, but I
And
mean, we
so,
got
and
some good
But
so,
stuff too.
yeah,
but
and
you know
so do
what,
you,
Bree?
and
It's
so do
like
you
when
over
people
there,
talk about the
partner.
hood. Like it's a
Yeah,
lot of good shit that happened in the hood that
Yes,
it
motherfuckers
Lord.
is.
just not spoke about. I
Right.
can give you plenty of good stories of us cracking a fire hydrant, us playing
Right.
football in the streets, etc., etc. But
How we look
it's
out for
just not.
each other.
And like I was saying earlier, hell, our culture is family reunions. That's
Yeah.
black culture. You get what I'm saying? Like so, like you said, they just like to paint it as the negative, and it's part of our fault because the music kind of portrays that shit. But
Yeah. That's
but
true. I mean,
yeah,
what gets commodified by the people when they want to come cosplay it, oftentimes that's the easiest thing to
absolutely, yeah,
commodify, because it's the most extreme version
exactly.
of,
There you
so
go.
it's
Yeah,
easy to put that costume on. But like
yeah.
we were talking about earlier, like the person who was in the hood but maybe was quiet, you can't cosplay it. Like, how you gonna cosplay the person who had,
You know
family
what's a good
members who was
example,
gang
Bree?
banging? Right.
When you see somebody transition,
Mm-hmm.
ain't it always the extreme? If a man goes to a woman, it's extreme of a woman. The long
Yeah.
ass nails, the
Right.
extra out makeup, and then the other way, when a woman goes to the man, it's the thug. I've never seen a square dyke. It's always the thugged out dyke. Like this
Right.
bitch
Just
look like she gonna
regular.
shoot you. It's always the extreme version of it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah, people
Or
like
like
people
the
like do
super player
a
looking.
caricature of it, especially for
Exactly.
entertainment. It's always a
Because like
caricature
you
of it.
said, like who's gonna be just the normal Joe guy? Like if I'm a transition to a woman, I'm gonna just be the normal Joe Blow woman, or if a girl gonna transition to a man, I'm gonna just be the normal Joe Blow man. Like, no, I'm gonna be the extreme version. You get what I'm saying?
And I think
Like
that's
you
a
said,
part of
Transition and
like,
be a six. I'm gonna
and
transition and be a six.
you feel
Like,
me?
nah,
Yeah,
man,
I'm gonna be a
I'm
10, bitch.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna be the
transition
baddest.
and
I'm
be
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
the
be
baddest
I'm
bitch
gonna be the
alive.
baddest one out there.
Oh yeah, and I
bad
really
bitch out
and I think what you talk about, Tom, because that's these people are our trans brothers and sisters, but just like black people in general,
Yeah.
nigga, I'm gonna make sure them shoes match that hat and that
Oh, for
t-shirt.
sure,
I'm a,
absolutely.
so and I think so when a person transition, yeah, of course, I want to be a baddie, but I will say the other people outside of like the black community, yeah, you do see that a lot. You see
Yeah.
people who might transition and it's not a archetype, but then
Hmm.
how much of
You know what?
you
That's true.
know
Because
You
I
can't
have this
commodify, but
transition guy. Like I asked him, like, yeah, that's true. I asked
but you
you.
can't
I
commodify
just have
that.
never seen it with the black
right.
folks. That's true.
You
Yeah,
can't
you right.
commodify that though. When you're talking about
Yeah.
niching down for marketing, algorithms, human
Yeah.
psychology, what people
Exactly.
will be
Yeah.
able to point to and say that is a gangster, you have
Yeah.
to be extreme. It has to be bigger than life. So a lot of what you're seeing is bigger than maybe there's a version of it in the hood, but it's gonna be like a bigger version of it because that's how you commodify and sell something to people. So that's why for me, like I don't get triggered when I fucking see Six Red. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna trigger me. I understand what's happening. She's niching down, she's commodifying hood rat behavior, but I done seen some hood rats. And it's just not triggering for me because I know hood rats really do fucking exist. And I know who they hang out with. And I know who they pair bond with. And I just know how that shit is. So it's like, I'm not gonna let that shit trigger me. And I know the parts of our culture that get commodified and sold are not always the best parts, but they're the extreme parts. You know what I mean? So that's just generally how I see it. And to Dury saying, go get grounded, which I don't want to experience how my ancestors fucking lived. If I want to experience how my ancestors live, I can go see a slave settlement over here in America and see how they live. That's for me
there.
because whatever their life was in Africa don't fucking matter after the trauma of slavery.
And the victory
Like,
and the victory of after slavery and the
right.
perseverance of
Yeah.
going through it and still being here. You know what I'm saying? Like going up against, you understand how influential you have to be to go against a superpower politically. Yeah, how much bloodshed that you had to be willing to go through to get to where you have. It ain't the best. We ain't got a total victory, but you feel what I'm saying? You that everybody, there's a reason why other people of color from outside of America don't have a mass immigration to their country because they don't have
Yeah.
ADOS. They don't have
And
us.
I mean, and just think about it from the sense of if somebody came and snatched you out your fucking house today and put you into slavery for all these years, I mean, the part is going to be the most influential to the story of who you became and who you are is going to be that trauma and after because the life you had before that is over and gone, bitch. And the life, post the trauma, it's like, who was I before? I mean, what does it even really have context? Because for the rest of my natural born life, I was in this situation. So for me, I feel grounded where I am. I feel connected where I am. I don't feel like, I think that's something that hurts a lot of Black people, that they're buying the rhetoric of who you are is somewhere beyond you here, where you
Come
are.
on, girl.
And I just don't feel that way. I feel really connected to who I actually am and my past here in America. So I don't know. I think that's something that I don't know if that's something that was made that people are being told to sell something. I feel like a lot of times it's a story that they're being told to sell an idea or a belief or a movement. I just don't identify with it. I
And
feel
you're right
connected.
about that because guess what? Even though it's not to slavery, but see, baby, Katrina did that to me.
Right.
Talk about complete. My mind was nowhere near living in Texas, San Antonio. I didn't know what the fuck San Antonio was. I didn't know what it was. It's literally like because I used to have a form of PTSD to where I would wake up and I would still see my bedroom because it was such a snap. Like
Right.
your whole way of life was just literally like snapped, snatched from you. Not just your material things, your family, your
Everything.
neighborhood, your culture, the language, especially being from New Orleans. So it's like, yes, that feeling of feeling like, especially going to San Antonio where it's mostly Mexican American, I felt
Right.
like I was in a different country. I'm not gonna hold you. I've been to Texas, I've been to Houston, Texas before. I never been to San Antonio. San Antonio make you feel like you didn't cross the border.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that because my partners out there that's cool. That's, saying they Chicano. I fuck with the Chicanos and not the Spaniard babies as much. Neither here or there. It's kind of like, um, yeah, you do go. I'm like, damn, I can only imagine if it was something like slavery. And yes, you go to a culture where people are calling you fucking refugees, even though you're an American citizen. It's
That was
ridiculous.
crazy still.
Like you're getting treated like that. So yes, I'm not saying it relates to our ancestors' enslavement, but
But it's
yeah,
kind
I,
of
I
like,
I
yeah.
had to. The person, the IG that is half Texan.
Right.
I literally spent half my life, baby. I'm half this. Yes, I have this accent. It ain't going nowhere. That's bloodline. That's ancestry. That's spirituality. That's all that. But the way that I move in workspaces, the way that how I feel about politics and certain laws. Oh yeah,
Right.
baby, that's Texas.
And then some of that culture is just lost forever. It's like gone
Yeah,
forever. And you
like
can't expect generations later to even have any connection to that. You wouldn't expect that. And then add on top of that, instead of a storm coming through and washing shit away, imagine if they sold your ass.
yeah, the New Orleans that the next generation, like the generations after me, because when Katrina hit, I was 19, about to be 22 weeks. So
Right.
you understand that is so true. Because even when I go and visit, every year I go visit, I see and I'm not just talking about gentrification of just black people. No, white people who are
Yeah.
from the city are being walked out. It's a damn shame when I'm like, damn, where are my white niggas at? Well,
They gone.
where my Irish folk at? What happened to my French folk? What's going on with the businesses? Like, so yeah, I'm seeing a total switch of change culturally across the board.
It's gone.
It's gone. Like the New Orleans I grew up that everybody knew before. In my mind, you know how niggas have a ADBC timeline? Bitch, I have a AK after Katrina timeline.
Yeah.
That's a timeline for me. 2005, August 29th, that's forever a timeline for me because my whole world, my whole world, not the planet, my
Right.
whole world, and a lot of people like me, my life dramatically changed in such a extraordinary way, to say the least, to
Right.
where now I have an experience that, well, guess what? And I'm just saying this, I'm on the rip, but it did give me a balance. New Orleans was such an exceptional place. I would have been kind of ditzy. Not ditzy, but I would have been oblivious to what Black America really deals with. I'm glad I went to Texas and got some straightening, as my friend from Texas say. I
And
had to deal
that
with some
is a
hard knocks
difference.
life. I
When
had to
you're
deal.
raised in an incubated black area where the culture can kind of be preserved and special, it is different when you go to these other cities and have a different experience of being black, which is, being the minority for real in an
The rule.
area. It is a different experience of being black too. And I think a lot of black people have that experience. I don't think every black person is from where we were, where we came up in predominantly black areas. Like every black person don't get that experience either. Like some people growing up in fucking all kind of random cities. There's black people in all kind of cities who don't have that privilege. So I mean, yeah, a lot of us are growing up in these like neighborhoods where we get to kind of experience the culture. But then there's some black people who don't kind of grow up in those areas and they have their whole experience be like what you're talking about in Texas.
Yeah.
So even between people born here in America that are black, there's still, a different way to experience being black. So I did want to point that out. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. But I know there's beat bracket. We're gonna close out because we gotta have some time to get it together. Poor
Yeah.
Yella had to use his chest voice. I lost 5 years off my life, so thank you for that. I know I hate when he started yelling. But it was necessary.
I was
But thank
good.
you.
I was like, look, you look like no
You
homo,
was in
but I'm a
we was
homo.
all in trouble.
I was like, Daddy, I didn't do it. You
We
know
was
what I'm
all in
saying?
trouble.
I
And
was
you
like,
not supposed to say that. You just supposed to just hope that the beatings don't start getting passed around. But don't say
yeah,
nothing.
I
You
was
can't
like,
say nothing.
hey,
Yeah.
I ain't do it. I'm a big dude, but Yella's a big dude. You feel me? I
Yeah.
ain't do it. I ain't do it. I was like, nah. But I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Great. I always enjoy this panel. I always enjoy this space with everybody. I mean, including my so-called life. I enjoy everybody. I enjoy this space. Thank y'all for having this conversation and nuance around stuff like this. So for me, a person that's into politics and history, I love that I'm seeing that this is bleeding in. It's y'all are People are starting to have those who you conversations. And I'm glad we not letting nobody know. Don't let nobody feel bad because when you observe American history, especially from 1965 immigration, I'm gonna keep throwing that out there so you can see it isn't a thing. It's not us that are being xenophobic or divisive. It's everyone else around us. I tell y'all, take care. Love everybody.
Thank you. Tommy B, did you want to say anything before you go?
No, it's a good conversation. I'll see y'all later.
Appreciate you for the info. Some info that we wouldn't have
For
had, some
sure.
background, some West Coast, lore. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming through.
When the wrestling thing is Saturday, right, Yella? Is Yella still there?
I don't know if he's actually
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
That's
Tomorrow.
going. And what page that's gonna be? That's gonna be on the page that I subscribe to, right?
That's gonna be here. It's gonna be here. It's gonna
Oh, here.
be
Okay, got you.
it's gonna be on 3 different channels. We're gonna be on Twitch. We're gonna be here on Critically Drinking, and we're gonna try to get on Take a Home podcast. But if not, look for it here first.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, old buddy was talking cash shit, so I was cracking up.
That shit get chaotic. But yeah,
It does.
appreciate it, bro.
For sure, yeah.
All right.
Sure.
All right. Good convo. Yella, anything? We'll be back in an hour, a little under an hour for Beat Bracket. What's the
Maybe.
songs? Maybe. Oh shit. Oh, maybe. Well, you just gonna have to fuck around and find out. Okay. We may or may not be back. But if we come back, y'all know where to find us. We finna go eat something. Anything else? He just talked about
No.
tomorrow, so I think that's everything. I see y'all. Bye.